Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. How you feeling?
Good, good. Sorry, it was. I would like to say I was. There's a good excuse for me being late, but I was watching Yu Yu Hakusho and lost track of time.
Oh, really? You're keeping it real, though. You're keeping it real. You know
Yeah.
what? Hold on a second. I have an echo. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. Cool. Hold on.
Did you cut yourself shaving?
Yeah. I use like a rusty razor. Hold on. I have an
I was
echo.
say, damn, bro, you use a machete?
Hold on a second. Wait. Okay. Here we go. I had another window open, so I'm hearing all this echo everywhere. Yeah, man. I butchered
Oh,
my face. It's a bad scene, man. I feel like
oh,
Nelly
damn,
right
man.
now.
Yeah, you look like you got trimmed up by Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I'm doing a tribute to Nelly, man. It's a '90s tribute. I got the
Mhm.
oh god, has Nelly been out since the '90s? It just hit me like wow,
The
that's
last
crazy.
time I remember Nelly doing a song was it with Tim McGraw, and that was like 2010 or 11 or some shit.
He's doing
2011
country
maybe.
music now. It's weird. I saw him on
It's not
Dancing with the
exactly weird.
Stars too. I went to my mom's house and
Yeah.
and it was on. It was pretty terrible.
You know
He
the
was
funny
doing
thing is
ballroom
I never
dancing
liked
and
him.
you never liked him?
No, I never liked him to begin with. So like his career trajectory. I'm not like gleeful or anything. I just never really saw what it was that other people saw in him.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. Hey, I sound info. What's going on? Gold Link RP. How you feeling? Party time. Vita's here.
Oh, what's
Oh,
up,
all
Vita?
right. Hey, how are
How you
you?
doing? Oh, good, good, good. How are you?
I got surprised. I didn't know you were going to be on.
Oh,
I tweeted that I was gonna
RP
be
is a
on.
female. Okay. Oh yeah. He was dancing on Dancing with the Stars with heels on his Air Force Ones. He didn't want to
No.
wear shoes. Like I hate when
That's
people do that when they try to act like if they ever wear shoes or a suit, it's like
like
kryptonite or
they're gonna
whatever.
yeah
So
they're
he
gonna
was
burst
trying
into flames.
Yeah, so he was trying to do Dancing with the Stars. And ballroom, you need ballroom shoes. He's trying to do Dancing with the Stars and sneakers like each week. But I didn't know he put heels on it
Was he
one week.
wearing a suit with the Air Force Ones, or was he like dressed in street clothes? Like
Oh, I can't remember. I think he might have been wearing the suit, but then put
because
on
if
the
he was
Air
wearing a
Force.
suit with Air Force, that's got to be the dumbest shit I've ever heard of in
Yeah,
my
he might as
life.
well just go all the way then, right?
Just yeah, like just put on a fucking you put on your Hermano Gilmo Zegna suit, right? Put on your fucking your just put on your Ted Baker shoes and call it a night.
Oh wow. Apparently, like that's the first thing that comes up when you ask. It's Nelly. If you put Nelly Dancing with the Stars, the first thing that comes up. Oh my god! This wasn't the first week. I think they got on him about not having real shoes, right?
Yeah.
And he came back with these monstrosities as a way around it, which is even worse. I'm gonna put it up on the screen now. It's really this is like a hate crime against somebody. I haven't figured out who yet, but I'll put it up right now. He got these custom made. So they were still sneakers, but they had a dress shoe bottom. So you could actually do the ballroom dancing. He'd rather do that than wear shoes.
That's a fucking abomination.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yes, yeah. So I didn't see those ones. The ones I saw, he was wearing regular sneakers and his feet were getting caught on the hardwood floor nonstop. And they told him he needs to wear real dress shoes. And he came back with these. Yeah. So that's Nelly.
Yeah. Oh, and there's square toed too. Oh, that's just fucking unfortunate. That's
Yeah.
just yeah.
What's all that noise? You guys hear noise or is it?
I'm
Is
hearing
it?
a whooshing. Yeah, I think it's you, Vita.
Yeah. So, I live in the hood, and
I was about to
Oh,
say you
okay.
got yeah. You got people doing like burnouts in your driveway or something.
yeah. So, like, not my driveway, but like people be in the alley right here, and there's
Yeah,
also music. So I can't even use my condenser mic on here because it'll pick up literally everything. So I live like
everything. Yeah.
I live in like a busy area, so you're gonna hear ambulances and fire engines.
You know what? Gives a show some flavor. It's fine. Hey, Black Outcast, what's going on? You said the roast Lil Wayne, and I gotta say, man, I just put this on Twitter. I can't believe the guy who said I beat the P like Emmett Till
Yeah.
would have bad racial politics. I can't.
You just fucking surprising. I don't know if you
Shocking.
saw. I tweeted earlier that that interview he did a while back when he was asked about Black Lives Matter. He was like, "Fuck you talking about Black Lives Matter?" He's like, "I'm a rich black man in America. Don't I tell you my life matters?"
Especially to my bitches. I remember.
Especially to my exactly.
I remember that interview.
And he tried to wink, but he had like the Rihanna wink where you can't actually wink. He has to close both eyes to do it.
Oh, Rihanna can't wink. That's disappointing. She's like so
no,
perfect.
Rihanna can't wink. No.
You know, she needs something wrong with her. So
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, God had to put like one little maker's mark on it, and that was it.
I saw somebody give my earrings a shout out, so thank you for the compliment on my earrings. Also, shout out to Mark from Black Outcast Media because I saw you show me love when I got on here. So,
he's good people. He's good people. So you know what? Does anyone have the Rashida Jones thing ready? I can pull it up.
Yeah,
it was going crazy yesterday.
I had it.
Just people got mad at me for my take.
What was your take?
Oh wait, it sounds like you might be a little low. Is it me?
For me?
Yeah.
I'm low.
Tell me what you think, Vita. I don't know if Vita's loud or if you're low.
Loud?
No, I think you're just right. I think.
How's this?
Yeah. Okay. Much better. Much better.
All right. Yeah, I said not Homerina Plessy swinging her Gucci booted heels over the fence to the front of the line. And people did not like that. First of all, they were like, "Why does Homer Plessy got to catch strays on this?" And second, it was like, why do you have a problem with a black woman speaking on her experience? I'm like, she's been black for 2 weeks. What the fuck are you talking about?
Literally, like that was my whole thing about it. Like you have not been black most of your career.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how she conducts herself in her own life or whatever, but I remember it might have been like 2013 or 14. She was on a red carpet for some awards show, and some reporter who I mean, because nobody knew her background at that time, right? Somebody asked her if she's like, you look good, look like you've got a tan. And Rashida, I guess trying to be gracious, didn't say it's because I'm black. She's like, oh, well, you know, I'm ethnic. So like she couldn't publicly say like, yeah, no, it's not a tan. I'm a black woman. Like she didn't say that. She wasn't very clear about it. It's only been in the last like few years. I would say like the last like 3 or 4 years where I've heard about her openly claiming her blackness. Not that I've really kept up with her career that much, but I remember like it was only probably 4 years ago that it got out that this is Quincy Jones's daughter, or became like mainstream knowledge. It's Quincy Jones's daughter. It's like, oh, okay, that's why. Okay, all right. Well, she's a mixed black woman. But I haven't seen her really like talk about racial politics or anything like that publicly until like just recently. And that's actually one of the big problems that I had with like the post Blackout Tuesday discourse. And I was saying this was going to happen, and it has happened, is that once, you know, corporations and celebrities start monopolizing the conversation about Black lives and turn the movement for Black lives into a movement for Black jobs, that is like, if you just hired me and, you know, let me tell your company about how things are supposed to be so that we can get more hires and we can increase diversity, we can get more casting, yada, 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 we can get more people in management positions, then it takes all of the heat off of what's actually happening for 99% of Black America, just regular working class Black people that don't exist in those rarefied airs. The conversation is no longer about the
and within that there.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was an accident.
No. I thought that was like you doing like being a ventriloquist. I was like, fuck, you just saying something, but I don't see your lips moving. But yeah, like the conversation stopped being about like the risk to Black people's lives in their day-to-day experiences. It stopped being about police brutality. It stopped being about, you know, racist encounters that could end with somebody dying. It stopped being about that and started being about just a job fair at the management level and above. And so seeing her into that conversation is just like, it's just the icing on the cake, because that's what the conversation's about now. It's really just, what do celebrities think about everyday Black politics? And because these celebrities, I mean, you know, I don't know about Rashida Jones's personal life, but I do know that she grew up around a fucking Hollywood weirdo. Her dad is just a strange human being. I
Is he?
have
Has he always been weird? I know he's weird now.
he's
Some of his
been weird
recent
for
interviews.
he's been weird for a very long time.
Okay.
But and I have no idea what her mom's like, but I don't I just can't see it. I can't see that she actually has a grasp on what the day-to-day reality is like for Black people, because she never grew up with the experience that most Black people have. And a lot of these celebrities don't have. They've been richer for a hell of a lot longer than they've been poor. They no longer have a grasp on the day-to-day realities, but they're the ones who end up leading the conversation for some reason.
Can you answer Raw's question? She wants to know who Plessy is. She didn't get the
Homer
reference.
Plessy. So if you've ever heard of Plessy versus Ferguson, which is the Supreme Court decision that didn't create but sort of like solidified the phrase "separate but equal," Homer Plessy was I think he was like, God, I hate to use this phrase, but they chose him because he was an octoroon. He was like 1/8 Black. He was a person with 1/8 Black ancestry that could pass for white. And so he was boarding a segregated train, and the train staff knew that this was going to happen and knew that Homer Plessy had Black ancestry. So when he tried to board the whites only car, in order to spark a lawsuit where the Black community could bring the state and the railroad line to bear for their segregated facilities, it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, of course, said that separate but equal is actually okay. It is legal. Like, it's not unconstitutional for there to be segregated train cars. And that was, according to many scholars and jurists, was the worst Supreme Court decision in American history.
Thanks, Black Outcast Media. Thanks, Jesus or Jesus Allen, for showing the love. And yeah, I always knew Plessy versus Ferguson was where separate but equal came from, but I never knew the details of the case, that he was a quadroon or octoroon or.
Yeah, I mean that's why he was chosen. And I forget the name of the organization that picked him out. Like they wanted to get somebody who would be able to board the whites only car without being immediately stopped. So they wanted to be able to get somebody that could pass and get on the train car. So they deliberately sought him out because he had white passing features.
Okay, so here is the audio in question. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
No.
Okay, so let me do it over again.
Oh yeah, when you hit the share screen thing, you gotta click on this little
Yeah,
check mark that says share audio.
Yeah, I just forgot. Let's see.
Politically, culturally, this has been this year politically, culturally, like awakening for a lot of people, where they saw a lot of stuff that they didn't see before, and within that they're sort of wrestling with their own answer.
Wait, did it stop making noise?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why it did that. Hold on. Also, what is that other?
I don't. Oh, that's your engine. That's not me.
Oh,
That's not you?
Sorry. No, that's me. Sorry about that. I'm gonna increase my noise gate right now.
Okay, well, what is that?
My office is in the basement and the laundry room is right behind me, so the washing machine is just
Okay. So I don't know why the volume disappeared anyway, so I have to do it over anyway.
Been this year politically, culturally, like awakening for a lot of people, where they saw a lot of stuff that they didn't see before, and within that they're sort of wrestling with their own anti-racism and blah blah blah, whatever the racism. There is a deep and deeply embedded and deeply dangerous narrative about Black women in this country, and there always has been since the creation of this country. And this has to be the time when we dismantle that in the same way that racism has been dismantled, because it's its own narrative.
That's a weird. Well, for two things that strike me as weird. One is that she's kept it on Black women instead of Black people. But it was a woman's panel on the bottom. It said "Power of Women," so maybe she was just talking about was supposed to just talk about women. But racism dismantled was very weird.
I would, okay, if I'm being generous, and a friend of mine who has like is acquainted with her, said this to me as well, even though I was just being very uncharitable, but was saying like, not that racism is non-existent, like racism has been completely dismantled, it is no longer a thing, more so that we have been able to focus on, analyze, unpack, deconstruct racism, but the gendered aspect to racism hasn't been as explored. So if I'm being charitable, like I could kind of see where she's going with that.
No.
Yeah, I still disagree because I don't think even that's true.
Let me say why I'm saying that, because that's not what she said. I think it's real easy to kind of go back and be like, oh, let me fix what she's really trying to say. That's not the words she used. We can only go by what she said. No, I'm not going at you. I'm just pointing out why I'm not going to be charitable, because at the end of the day, I can't go by your intent. I can only go by what you actually said. What she said was dismantle. And the way she used it did not sound like she was saying, well, we deconstructed it and we did this. Because first of all, we ain't did shit. As far as I'm concerned, if we still have this huge wage gap and poverty gap and everything else, we still dying more than everybody else. We ain't fixed shit. We ain't dismantled shit. Ain't no damn discourse. She's full of shit. But then to take that and then try to pit that as though, that's been taken care of. So now we got to take care of Black women. And that's not even that doesn't even make sense, because there's no way you've dismantled racism without having affected Black women already.
Well, my thing is, I feel like even if Andre's charitable thing is what she was saying, I still think it's a dumb thing to say. Like I don't even like the charitable thing. Like, I don't understand how racism has been more dissected than even the gendered aspect of, like, I just don't understand any of that.
Keep in mind, I don't think that again, celebrities generally do not have a strong grasp on history, sociology, theory, any of this stuff. She's not a Black Studies major, right? So I wouldn't expect, like, it's very common for people to separate the gender conversation from the race conversation as though they aren't inextricably linked, and that each type of oppression and violence is visited on Black people is a specifically gendered form of oppression and violence. Each of them are. But I don't expect them to know that, because they don't study this shit for a living, which is why I say, when you put them at the front of the conversation, some dumb shit leaks out real quick, because they've never, like, they don't understand the history, they've never been trained, they don't have an education in this area. And this is why I also hate the phrase lived experience, because people assume that just because you're a Black person, or you have like a Black identity, or you have a Black ancestry, then your opinion and your insight is as good as anybody else's. So you could have a Black studies scholar like Sharice Burdenstelli, you could have a philosopher like Dr. Tommy J. Curry, you could have historians like Gerald Horne. You could have any of those people, or you could have Rashida Jones. It's like, well, I know who Rashida Jones is, so I'm just going to book her to have a conversation about it. And the thing that actually pisses me off is that there's a lot of academics that know the difference. Like, they know, they have the discernment to be able to say, yeah, it's more nuanced than simply bisecting race and gender. There are actually multiple facets of oppression, each with their own gendered aspect. Let's have a conversation about that. Here's how Black women and girls are affected. That can't be done because they're trying to get on panels, they're trying to get hired, they're trying to be on TV, you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to get bylines. So they'll dumb the conversation down for white audiences that don't really care about these nuanced aspects and just want to feel good. And they're willing to do the Rashida Jones thing and have these basic ass conversations. And because they're not upping the bar, and they're not pushing the line as to how complex these conversations can be, it all sounds the same. So why not hire Rashida Jones, since her analysis is as good as anybody else's?
And that's actually the other thing I was going to say. I'm glad you brought that up. I feel like one of the things that really irritates me about media is the constant ways of looking progressive without having to be progressive. So in order for them to sound like, this is Vanity Fair or some shit, in order for them to sound like they're a progressive space, they have these, bland ass conversations that are meaningless, which is pretty much her entire career, if you think about it, right? And that's also my other thing about her. Every character she's ever played, they've gone out of their way to make sure her character was not deemed Black.
Mhm.
I don't think that's an accident. Every single character she's played outside of Black as Fuck.
I was just gonna say, like, besides Black as Fuck, have we seen her play a black woman in a role?
No, when she was in Parks and Recs, they said she was some exotic ethnic mix. When she was on The Office, she was Italian. She was a Ken Filippelli or some shit. So like, as far as in every other thing I've ever seen her in, she had no family. We didn't know, she was always ambiguous. So I have a big issue when you haven't been even playing the role of a Black woman. You don't even let your character be called Black or even mixed.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's let her. I mean, I think she probably just went for roles that she could pass for, and that probably maximizes her.
I would think that if that weren't every single time.
I mean, she might keep going for those roles. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying she might.
Main characters in some of these roles. That's the thing. So I can't buy that.
Well, this is.
And on top of that, and it wasn't like outside of those roles, she was saying anything about Black people, Black politics, Black women. She wasn't saying any of those things. So
that I agree with.
What I'm saying is it transferred through everything she's done. This isn't like that's really for her for them to use her and for her to feel like she's capable of saying this stuff in behalf of Black women really bothers me as far as how the media has these conversations. And that's why so many people vote the way they vote and think the way that they think about racism and what's going on in this country, especially even Black people. Because most of the people who do know shit spend too much time trying to beg other white intellectuals to listen to them, as opposed to going back to our communities and really teaching them the shit that we do know. But yet we have white media that's doing all that, teaching for them. I won't even get to the education system. That's a whole nother conversation. But in general, just media, I just have a big problem with how we have this conversation on racism, and then they constantly bring in people like her.
One thing with her, why it doesn't really bother me, people talking about she looks whatever, is the kind of person they would have got, even if it was like super dark, even if they got like they would have got someone like Bozoma St. John or something, who would have done something as bad. Like, my problem is no matter what the person looks like, the people they pick for this stuff would have been as bad or worse than her. She could have been dark, and they would have found somebody terrible. So I mean, she's predictably terrible in this.
It's a cool talking point now to act like you're pro-Black women. That's like the new thing. Yeah. That's the hot thing. So she's just hopping on that wave.
And it's very, very fake as hell, because they never talk about issues for Black women. It's just about, like, they never talk about like better childcare, better educational opportunities, or anything like that. Anything that kind of matters, mortality rates in hospitals or anything. It's always
the mortality rates one I hear often. But the funny thing about that, like, I actually do hear celebrities and like media figures and pundits, etc., mention higher mortality rates, and then it becomes a springboard to some other conversation. You know what I mean? Like, and this is why our issues aren't being explored when yada yada yada, and then they'll just like segue off from there to talk diversity babble. So that's the only one that I ever actually hear, is that Black women face higher mortality rates during childbirth.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about solutions.
There.
No, I'm talking about solutions, that the things that they give solutions for. Like, they don't talk about helping them with, like, even if they bring it up, they don't talk about helping them with that. Like,
if for example, this is one of those things where, like, the disconnect in the political conversation blows my fucking mind. The idea that Black women face higher mortality risks, but are they talking about Medicare for all? Are they talking about expansion of are they talking about expanding the Medicare system such that people who are the most precarious, that is, like, the lower income or have precarious jobs, but then do have to deliver children, that they're at least covered and aren't going to be on the hook, or rather than choosing the lowest cost option to be able to have childbirth. So, for example, like, if you're in the hospital, can you, for example, get like a semi-private room? you know, are you is your insurance going to cover like a stay for more than 24 hours? Is it going to cover a stay for a week, for example, if you have complications? All of this stuff could be not eliminated, but at least mitigated by having a comprehensive Medicare system. But that's not what people are going to advocate for. They're simply going to throw out Black women have a higher mortality rate and then just leave it hanging out there as if the problem solves itself by people's awareness about it.
Yeah.
Right. But the fact that even if we have insurance, the hospitals are the ones killing us. Like,
Yeah.
when we go, they kill us when we get there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But like in general, like they never have actual solutions for Black women about anything, even if it's something that they're willing to bring up, you know, like so. But when it comes to complaining about Black men and how Black men are treating Black women, suddenly it's like, are you okay? They will rush out white liberals. I don't know. That's the only thing they ever seem to really that's the only Black woman issue they really seem to really care about, is how put upon they are by Black men. I noticed.
You know what's interesting? I think that you're right, and I think that's a deflection from other conversations like Q was pointing out. Because I was thinking about, for example, remember when Hillary was running before against Trump, and they had the Democratic National Convention, and they brought all those Black women out, those mothers of people and wives of people who were slain by police. They trotted them out there, had everybody clapping for them. People was hugging them and shit. What policy came out of that actually did anything? Not
a lot
one.
of us want attention, sadly. I mean, honestly, a lot of people want to feel heard. That's our big problem.
And exactly. And so they paraded us out there. They have these women who literally lost people they love, fathers, children, husbands, and they trotted these women out there, paraded them around to make themselves look more progressive than they actually are. And we got nothing out of it. That's why I get annoyed when people like Alicia Garza get out here and say we're the backbone of the Democratic Party. That's not a plus on our side. In fact, I'm embarrassed when y'all say stupid shit like that, because they ain't did shit for us.
Yeah, for sure. I don't understand this. You said y'all say dark skin like it's a race. I feel like we've been talking about light skin and dark skin today. I don't know how we talked about it any differently than how we talked about
I don't even know what they're referring to. So
yeah.
Said dark skin in this conversation?
Yeah, well, I was saying if they had someone dark skin like Bazoma St. John, it would have been as terrible as you know, having but I don't think I described that as a race anymore than
no.
Yeah. But actually, so I didn't play the whole thing. So let me just play it to the end.
This has been this year politically, culturally, like awakening for a lot of people, where they saw a lot of stuff that they didn't see before. And within that, they're sort of, you know, wrestling with their own anti-racism and blah, 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 whatever, the racism. There is a deep and deeply embedded and deeply dangerous narrative about Black women in this country. And there always has been since the creation of this country. And this...
What is she talking about? What, since the creation of this country, was a dangerous narrative of Black women? Because if she explained it, then maybe I could rock with her. Like, what is the dangerous? I don't know.
Has to be the time when we dismantle that in the same way that racism has been dismantled, because it's its own narrative and it's specific to Black women and girls.
So you're saying Black women narrative is specific from the race narrative? So,
which makes no sense.
So she's saying Black women are their own race. That's something I notice a lot of Black feminists do, is they try to act like Black woman is almost a separate race from Blackness. Kind of like when Ice Cube was on that show Cocktails with Queens, and they asked him, which we're going to play later, they asked him, okay, so here's contract for Black America. What about Black women? And Ice Cube was like, aren't Black women part of Black America? And they just kept arguing with him. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a weird, I don't know.
And the quicker we get to really understanding the expectations and the oppressions that are very specific to Black women and girls, the closer we get to you being able to create what you need to create without all of that burden. So I just put that out there as a call to arms and action.
Is everything okay? What happened? I heard you say what happened.
Did it freeze? Did it freeze for y'all?
Oh no, I just paused it because I heard you saying what happened. So, can you hear me? Oh, I think. No, I mean, Vita. I thought she
Oh,
froze
Vita-
for a
yeah, Vita
second.
froze. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, I
you were
was
frozen. You were
like
frozen for a
everybody.
second.
Okay,
Okay,
it looked like
yeah.
everybody else was frozen, but not me. So
To me, what I'm getting for as this thing goes on, I'm getting the idea that she's saying black men's problems, which is racism, has been sorted. I think what she's saying is black men have been sorted. Now we have to focus on black women. Like, if you take it as a whole, tell me if you think I'm crazy. I don't want to
I
try
heard.
people's patience. Okay, but yeah, if you take into account, I think that's what she's kind of saying. One last time, I promise. It's several people are saying Q's volume is too low. I think it's because of the laundry that he put it low.
I did adjust the gain just so that it wouldn't pick up the machine, but the cycle's done now, so I can turn it back up. How's this?
Oh, way better.
Yeah,
bit
you're
better?
much
Okay.
better.
All
Okay, so it's only 1 minute long, so I'm gonna play it straight through, and I won't interrupt anymore. I promise. But listen to it with that in mind, and I think that's what she's saying. That black men have been sorted out. Now let's focus on black women.
This has been this year politically, culturally, like awakening for a lot of people, where they saw a lot of stuff that they didn't see before, and within that they're sort of wrestling with their own anti-racism and blah blah blah, whatever the racism. There is a deep and deeply embedded and deeply dangerous narrative about black women in this country, and there always has been since the creation of this country. And this has to be the time when we dismantle that in the same way that racism has been dismantled,
Black
because
men
it's
have been
its own narrative and it's specific to black women and girls. And the quicker we get to really understanding the expectations and the oppressions that are very specific to black women and girls, the closer we get to you being able to create what you need to create without all of that burden. So I just put that out there as a call to arms and action.
She didn't name a single thing. She didn't name the narrative. What narrative is she talking about?
I'm not sure. She didn't name the narrative.
Maybe in the actual discussion they got into that, but out of that clip, there's nothing I could. But it's only a minute clip, right?
Oh yeah, she was part of a whole discussion, wasn't she? With a bunch of black women.
Yeah. So just off of that promo,
maybe she went into the deeper what those reasons are at another point.
Exactly. Yeah, so I don't want to be like, again, I'm trying to be charitable here. Like, I generally end up being the nice guy when it comes to that kind of thing. Like, I don't want to be like ridiculously optimistic for no reason, but I do at least want to assume that people are halfway competent and have something to say besides empty platitudes. Although I am often proven wrong, but without seeing the entire thing, I wouldn't think it's fair to say, well, she didn't say anything at all. Just not in that clip.
I still think she's trying to say that black men have gotten a disproportionate. And now that I see who she's on the panel with, I can kind of see why she would say that.
I can see. Is that Lena Waithe?
That's Lena Waithe. So that's like bad sign number one.
Oh. And what's her name? Yara.
Yeah.
I don't see. I can't see who the other person is.
Actually, I'll enlarge it. There's Mara Brock Akil, who did Girlfriends. There's Gina Rock Prince by the Wood, I think is her name. Who's I've liked, but Yara Shahidi, Lena Waithe. Am I missing anybody? Oh, and maybe so. I guess that was the intro to this. It's 47 minutes long. We can't play it.
There's no way I'm sitting through that.
No. We can't anyway. Yeah, no, we can't. But I'm saying I don't even know where to jump to in this. I have not seen it, but I wish I knew this existed. I would have made shorter clips out of it. But
just put yourself through what you put yourself through last night. Watching that barbershop conversation.
Oh yeah. That barbershop conversation was great. Hold on. So I want to play some clips. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna watch that thing on my own time, and if there's any good clips in it, maybe we can return to it tomorrow. And maybe Rashida will redeem herself. Maybe Rashida will be dropping that heat in that conversation, Vita and Q, and you guys will be like, Q will be vindicated. We'll find out.
I'm just saying it's possible. I'm not saying that she did.
Okay, so I'm gonna be real. I'm not gonna look at that shit because the other thing was when you start to see, one is variety, like who gives a fuck what they think about racism?
Yeah.
People that they put on there, like who the fuck are they to be speaking on any of this? And how do they now represent Black women when none of them really, in my opinion, have like the typical experience, especially right now? Not saying that everybody grew up with privilege or anything like that, but I just have an issue with when we only go to that space. It just really bugs me. But also, like I said, it's variety, so I guess you can't really expect them to do much more than that. So
you know what? Like you don't have like a Malcolm X, you don't have a James Baldwin, you don't have fuck it, like you don't even have like a Minister Farrakhan on Donahue. Like it used to be a time when
right.
I don't like to call people leaders. I like to call people like thinkers and activists and so on. But you don't have like people whose sole role in the community is to analyze and theorize and organize. What you have are celebrities that, oh yeah, and besides the celebrity thing that I do, I also have some thoughts about yada yada yada. Even though these are not communities that I live in, these are not communities that these are not communities that care about me the way I care about them, etc. Like, or I don't care about them the way they care about me. You don't have that class of people who live and organize and agitate within those communities who go on these shows. And when they do go on the shows, they go there with the purpose of increasing their celebrity so that they can be hired by some media company or hired by a film company or hired by a writers organization or whatever, get signed to an agency. So it's like there aren't people that are like Black activists for the sake of advocating for Black people. And out of those conversations that we used to have in the 60s, 70s, and even the 80s, we were able to get the reality of Black people that aren't celebrities, aren't athletes, aren't pundits, aren't politicians. Those realities would at least have some space in media circles. Now we don't have that. Now everything's just being drowned out by people that already are either celebrities or are trying to get to be celebrities, and not somebody that's completely disinterested, someone that's completely like not trying to get it, is to broadcast, this is what my community is going through and this is what needs to change. You don't really see that anymore.
Yeah, it's funny. It made me think of like Sister Souljah, who's she's out here, and you could Google all these clips of her on talk shows from the 90s. You don't really see people who are like her now. It's like you have very
it was really just one. It was Donahue. He was a trooper.
There's actually a couple of other like PBS interviews. Like there's all these other kind of interviews you'll also see with some of those people. And I don't think you get that now. I think part of that is really because everything is so constructed now. Everything is so curated now. Everything is planned and precise now because you don't want to slip up and have a Sister Souljah on there. You know what I mean? So right. I think so. It's very strategic who they get. And I want to address. Oh, first of all, hi. What's up, Mario?
What's up? How you doing?
Oh, what's up, Mario? Hey, you see you
there. What's going on, bro? What's going on, man? Long time no see, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. I haven't talked to you for a long time. Are you doing well?
It's been a minute. I'm always in and out anyway, man. So
yeah,
I just caught me at the right time. What's that?
All good. I said you holding up okay? Everything good?
Yeah, for sure. What's going on with you, T?
I'm chilling, man. Just chopping up my face shaving. Yeah. Yes, I butchered my face. I had a straight edge razor, and I was trying to be a big dog.
I wanted to address what Isaac said, but you took it off the screen. There it goes.
I just want people to see Mario.
Oh, Mario. I know it's so good to see you, Mario. So I don't get like I still don't get to see you. But I know I'm taking a shot.
right. I deserve it. Hey.
Don't scare him off. We got him here. Don't.
Okay. You're right. Okay. No, but I did want to address what Isaac said. You said, what if their purpose is for the white gays? Maybe they're not for us in the first place. You're right. That's exactly who it's for. It damn sure ain't for us. What do we need to hear from them for? So I actually 100% agree with you. Just want to make sure I'm clear. I'm very clear on that. I'm not expecting much, again, from spaces like Variety.
Yeah, Adolph Reed had that article, What Are the Drums Saying, Booker? And he was talking even in the 80s about how bad that scene had gotten. One of the things he said, which I thought was very prescient, was he said that, and it's worse than ever, the boosterism, like all the black public intellectuals that are there, is just like a giant Mean Girls table, and everybody just wants to make sure their friends, their people are being put on. So it'll be like, and the caliber of what counts as a public intellectual is like so low. Like we've gone from Michael Eric Dyson or Cornel West to like Amanda Seals and Bazoma St. John, and like people just don't have any qualification to be talking about anything. Like and Rashida Jones, you know, but these people are always friends. You don't like, there was that old Malcolm X thing with I think A. Phil Randolph and someone else. They were all on this table, and they had people, someone from Ebony, Malcolm X. Who's the guy? I can't remember this guy's name. He was an activist, but he was like one of the respectability type of activists. He used to. I can't remember his name. I was hoping one of you guys remember.
Which one?
I can't remember his name. That's the problem. It's not A. Philip. It's not A. Philip Randolph, but he was.
They used to appear on those forums together.
Yeah. But maybe I could find the forum and show it to you guys. But this kind of lineup, the respectability guys, but first off, would never have agreed to come on with him if it happened today. You know, like, yeah, but
Earl O'Farry Hutchinson.
No, you know what? You guys can keep talking. I'll find it.
Somebody said Roy Ennis.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't him. It's okay. I'll find it. Yeah, but
yeah. Actually, I did say something like that. Man, I've been on a fucking tweet storm. AOT, remember when I was like, hey man, I just turned 40 years old, so I shouldn't even be on social media. Like I felt very awkward being look how that turned out. But I did say something a little bit earlier. I said that if you're forming your analysis of black people via celebrity, politics, and television, the phrase white gay should never exit your yap. Because if that's where you're getting your analysis of black people from, you're getting your analysis of black people through a fucking screen. You know what I mean? Like, you're not, if you actually get out and talk to black people, which is like, as much as I'm online, I don't form my opinions or analysis or any of that about black people through what I consume in media. It's either what I read or the people that I meet, the people that I talk to. And that's not to say that, like, you know, my experience is going to be everybody else's experience, but I'm not formulating my opinions or analysis based on anything that I fucking consume through a screen, because like Vita said, it is curated. But that's all people seem to be able to do. And I think part of that is a couple things. Is one, not having any sort of like historical analysis to bring to bear, and two, not having any particular political ideology. Like they might be like liberals, but only because like it's just by default. And to be a liberal, like all you have to really believe is that people should be free to do the things that they want to do. What are the foundational texts that somebody would read for liberalism? You know what I mean? It's like there's no they're not being introduced to their form of politics through any sort of like dialectical discussion. They're not clashing ideas together and then synthesizing an answer. It's just, oh, I believe people should be able to do what they want. I believe people should be able to marry anybody that they want, whether it's same gender or different races. I believe that women should have the right to choose. I believe that, you know, we should have some sort of social safety net, that we should have healthcare. I believe that we should have functioning roads and schools, etc. It's like, well, fucking congratulations, you want a functioning society, but what are your actual political principles? And in the absence of that, like, since they don't have principles or ideology, then all they can do is consume media and form their opinions off of that. Or if they meet people, the funny thing about this is because they've gotten all of their political opinions from media, when their opinions that they've gotten from media clashes with their experience of what they've encountered in the community, they will ignore the experiences that they have in the community and jump straight to, okay, but the media is reinforcing those bad interactions that I've had in the community. That resonated with me strongly. I'm going to choose to believe this instead and ignore everything else that's come. Like, that's not to say that people don't experience hardships, bigotry, misogyny, etc. in the community, but it's like, how do most of your interactions within Black communities go, even if it's a community that you didn't necessarily get born into. But if, let's say if it's a community that you choose, let's say that, like, you know, people that you grew up with were strict, they were evangelical Christian, they didn't accept whether it's like premarital sex or alcohol consumption or drugs or same-sex attraction or anything like that. Let's say that you are distant enough from your family that you've found a community that you fall into, and you meet more Black people around you. You're going to say that your experiences with the Black community are those bad interactions that you had with family and your community growing up, and the community that you found isn't necessarily a quote unquote Black community. It's a Black queer community. It's a Black trans community. It's a Black women's community. So like you create a subsection of the Black community. Yeah, it's like you create a subsection of a community like it's not the actual community. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's just never how I've been able to view my own community. Like I've had, you know, bad interactions in my community, etc. Like I've experienced like bigotry, I've experienced homophobia, I've seen transphobia happen. Like I've had these experiences in my life, but what I've also been able to do is
being human.
Yeah, you find people that you can fucking bang with. And so like the people that I had terrible experiences with growing up, like I take that into account alongside all of the great experiences that I've had with people that I've come to know, love, and trust. And that to me is my Black community. So
just real quick,
but you said something
staticky.
profound.
I don't know. Is he only staticky to me?
No, I hear it too.
Okay. Yeah, you sound a little staticky for some reason, Andre.
Oh, sorry, dude.
We can still hear you, but I just wanted to let you know.
All right.
No, but you said something profound though. See, you're invested in loving the community. So you fully come to grips with the fact that number one, people are human, people are going to be flawed. And so you're going to have these elements in the community that you're not going to necessarily get along with. They're not going to agree with everything you do. You're not going to agree with everything that they do, right? And so you won't rock with those elements. But the bottom line is you love the community so much that you're not going to put all of that on the community and say, oh, they're all like this or they're all. But see, that's a normal, healthy way to look at things. When you're in those subgroups and you get on the internet and you're just kind of around each other in this echo chamber all day, every day, you have a tendency to look at things in a very extreme manner. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's the problem that a lot of these other groups are having.
And you start to think that you start to think this, like certain things are all day, every day, 24/7, because you're constantly seeing it on your timeline because everybody's sharing it to the same group or to the same subgroup or whatever. So now you're thinking, oh, all day, every day, this is horrible things are just happening. And not that bad things aren't happening, but because that's all you've been seeing, it's hard for you to see other perspectives because all you've ever seen or all you've been seeing in this group is, like, for example, I was in a Black feminist group. I kind of left a lot of the Black feminist groups that I was in online. But not even because I even had a problem with what I thought was the original ideology around it. But the more I got involved, the more I saw how literally anti-Black male it became. Because you have now to be fair, these were a lot of women who have been through a lot of things. And some of them were going through them while we were in the group. So, you know, so you're constantly seeing people talk about their abusive boyfriends or partners, and you're constantly talking about their abusive fathers or the people that, you know, sexually assaulted them. Because a lot of people are finding solace in this women's group. But then it becomes all you see, all you hear. And so all you can ever think is how terrible men are, how terrible Black men are. And I even fell into that because they would share those videos of like Tommy Sotomayor and all these other, you know, Black men who hated Black women. And I would see so many of those videos and I really started to believe Black men hated us. Now, mind you, most of my life, I've been around Black men. I was raised by my dad. I lived with my dad and my brother. I was the only girl in the house. I have mostly male cousins that I grew up with. A lot of my friends are male. Like I've pretty much always been in spaces with Black men who have kept me safe. But for some reason, watching those videos and seeing it over and over and over again started to really change how I thought about my own brother, you know? So
wow.
I think
there's a certain immersion that happens when you get in that world, right? I mean, when you're invested in looking at what this toxicity 24/7 like that, you're looking at Tommy Sotomayor and you're looking at all these other clowns and hearing what they have to say. If you invest a certain amount of time in that, you will start to think like, damn, exactly. What's going on here, right? And then you have to get to a point where you take a step back, like, wait a minute, Now, in my real life, I know black men or I know black women. Like, I'll put it like this. I've dated black women my entire life, right? My heart breaks. Everything that has happened to me that's been, whatever heartbreaks I've had has been from a black woman, right? So if I were to take that and then put that on, they ain't no good, just to hell with all of them. You know what I'm saying? What good would that do? You know what I mean? Like, they're human. So that's going to happen. That's a part of the human experience. You're going to have heartbreaks, ups, downs, and all of that. But I don't know. It just seems like people have trouble accepting reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the other thing
take it to these extremes.
And the other thing is like, unless a lot of it has to do with the lack of our own healing. I mean, we never understand that part. We tend to blame everything outside of us, the people we've run into, our parents, whatever. We don't ever realize, I have to heal from this shit. And I think because we haven't healed, we keep encountering just because we're fucked up and toxic, we attracting fucked up and toxic people, or we're codependents and we attract narcissists, or we're, whatever it is, we end up becoming magnets for people who are unhealthy for us. Instead of us looking at it like that, we say, it's the entire race the entire gender of this race, right? We say it's black men, not the black men I've been around, not the black men I've been because of whatever my toxic issues are, or my trauma is, or whatever. We don't even know how to do that. One of my big goals in almost all the work that I do is centered on us being able to get some self-awareness so we can begin to heal from this shit. Because we're constantly blaming each other and at each other's throats, having stupid ass gender wars on Twitter, because motherfuckers think that that's real life, that this is all what black women think or what all black men think. Because, no, seriously, I get into these arguments with these guys, even the guys that follow me, and they said some generalized thing about black women. And I'm like, how can you say that? And you have all these black women on your timeline that I know we're all mutuals with saying the complete opposite. But for some reason, you keyed in on this group and said, this is the majority, even though there's no evidence of these people even being the majority. It's just on your timeline.
And that's why on this show, we've even had to kind of like dial some things back, because we used to go at a lot of what we would see on Twitter, some of the excesses and stuff like that with some of the black feminists and whatnot. And then we started noticing like a lot of the guys that were going against them also, but they were a little bit too, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they were like, hold on, they
just hated black women. They thought, this is a safe space to bash black women.
Right. So we're not going to make this a safe space to come bring that foolishness here. So we had to kind of set a boundary about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I found the thing. Hold on. Let me just pull it up real quick. This is what I was messing up. Let's get it together, T. There we go. This is what I was talking about. I think this might have been PBS. It's James Farmer, Wyatt T. Walker, and someone else. But look at this lineup. You would never see a lineup like this today. And this used to happen into like the 90s, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know if you can hear the sound, or if I forgot to click it again.
You hear
the opening. Okay, this is the opening segment. Mm-hmm. And this guy from Rutgers University. First off, they wouldn't hire a professor from Rutgers University to host the show anyway. Nowadays, he'd be from Yale or something. Strangely scary music, but
yeah, the 60s and 70s were an interesting time soundtrack wise.
And
I'm Richard Hefner, your host on The Open Mind, as I had been even nearly 4 decades ago when the program on race relations in crisis that follows today was first broadcast.
Okay, so
Malcolm X was my guest that fateful day in June 1963. So were the 2 black leaders who in 1992 had survived nearly 30 years more of racial concerns, and who joined me then for another special edition of The Open Mind.
He's giving a little commentary on how it came about.
To look ahead at race relations in America. It follows as well. Of course, when Malcolm and the others first explored the subject with me, it was still weeks before the massive 1963 march.
Okay, I'm just gonna jump ahead because he's giving a bunch of context. This is the actual thing.
To not enjoy the full and free life, be content.
Give me a second.
Personal one. Be forgiving, please, for the incredible foolishness of a young host literally smoking up a storm.
So this is it.
This segment of our program is being pre-recorded on the morning of Wednesday, June the 12th. Now, I give you this bit of seemingly gratuitous information only because the fastest moving area of American life today is the struggle for equality between all Americans. And what is thought and said today may easily be modified by the events of tomorrow. In Ebony magazine for July 1963, Lerone Bennett Jr. writes about the mood of the Negro in this way. The mood speaks in angry eyes and anguished hearts. It says now. It says all. It says enough. The words, the angry eyes, and the heavy hearts are reflections of a vast and potentially explosive emotional upheaval in the ghettos of America. The upheaval expresses itself on one level in a growing mood of defiance and despair, in go-for-broke demonstrations in Mississippi and Alabama, and spasmodic protests in the North. On another level, the upheaval takes the form of massive disaffection and a growing mood for blackness. However expressed, the mood and its manifestations are moving Negro Americans to a fateful, eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation.
Can you mention Ebony magazine writing that now?
Now, the quest for equality is
No.
not a racial problem. It is the white man's problem as much as it is the Negro's. At this moment in time and space, however, it seemed appropriate to
Sorry
bring
for this long
together a few of
preamble.
those Negroes who have approached the theme of equality from a variety of experiences and points of view.
This is what I want to
Let
get
me
to.
then introduce my guests. First, Wyatt T. Walker, Chief of Staff of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and Executive Assistant to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther
So there's a religious guy who works with Martin Luther King.
Alan Morrison, New York editor of Ebony magazine.
Okay.
So he would have been like the blue check of his
Malcolm
day.
X, minister of Mosque Number 7 here in New York City, a leader in the Black Muslim
Malcolm X.
organization.
My boy.
James Farmer, National Director of CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality. Mr. Farmer, I think I would begin.
And yeah, I just wanted to show, I couldn't jump right to the right part, but you would never, first off, the white host would never even read something like that today. Ebony would never print something like that today.
Yeah.
And a lineup like that, it would not happen. It would be like Jamila Lemieux, Issa Raye, would be the third. Lena Waithe to be the third one. And then the fourth one might be like, Brittany Cooper. Yeah, to be the academic. And then they would have been talking about colorism, you know, and like half of it would have been a black men and how patriarchy. We need to lead. You know, black men just want to lead. That's why we have to lead. We have to lead. Give us the jobs. It would have been just a piece of garbage. And if you watch that whole thing, I wish I had a cut so I could have.
How did you get through that without saying the word centered?
Yeah, you're right. Centered would have been another one, but centered it coexists with lead, so it's it's part of the same thing. Yeah, but the topics they spoke about were like heavy topics. It wasn't just like lifestyle shit. Yeah, that is dead. And actually, that's a good segue to go into this. What we have now, which I think this is a great segue. We have this, yes. Ice Cube on the show Cocktails with Queens, and I mean it's so different now. But here's the roundtable that we have today, and this is one clip from it. This is Syleena Johnson, who I believe she's a singer, right?
Yes, Syleena.
Okay. Syleena, okay.
And that's another thing. Like half these people, we don't even be knowing who the hell they are.
I
knew the other three, but
I'm sorry. Once I hit about 35, I stopped absorbing pop culture. I just my capacity.
I think that's
to do it,
what it is. Yeah.
So anybody that came after about 2015, it was I'm sorry to this man or woman. I don't know who they are.
Right.
Well, Syleena Johnson's older than that. She's like deep. Like if you're really into like R&B, she's more like that.
Okay.
So like if you're like into Lettucey and shit like that.
Let me know if you can hear
the
this.
R&B radar. Like sorry, it's not that important, but I fell off it early.
Well, I like Syleena Johnson, even though I don't like her on here. Nope, we don't hear anything, T.
Okay, you don't hear anything. Okay. Let's try again.
But yeah. This, you know what? I watched that whole video, the whole thing, and when I saw the clip, I was hoping that it was out of context because the clip bothered me. The first clip that went viral, and
Yeah.
how they were talking to Cube about where the space for Black women was in his plan. And when I watched the whole thing, it gave me a little more context, but it didn't really help. Yeah. Are you going to show the other one with Alicia Garza on Roland Martin?
I have a whole bunch of them lined up.
Okay.
Unlike that last one, actually isolated. Tell me if the sound plays now. Did it play?
No.
No.
I have one way of getting around this. Hold on. I don't know why it's not working. Unlike the Chrome thing, it doesn't have a box for a click to let audio be heard. So yeah, I don't know why that's not working, but I have another thing that I can do.
You getting love in the chat, Q?
Oh damn. Okay. What's up? Sorry, I'm looking at like three. I'm literally looking at 3 different screens at once. But what's up? Thank you very much for the love. I appreciate that.
Oh,
yeah, Kanzi's cool people.
Thank you, Jabra Jeans. Afro Jim, we are going to record another episode. We just had a meeting, so we kind of did like our first few episodes, kind of met to see what direction we want to go in, and we're actually going to go in a really fun direction too. So I think you guys are going to like that. But you know,
is it a surprise or can you tell us?
Huh? Oh well,
no, is it a surprise or can you tell us?
Oh no, we can't. You guys will see it when you hear it when it comes out. But we're gonna we've been meeting and talking and trying to figure out how we want to move forward, and we really appreciate all the support that we've gotten. Yeah, so you guys can, if you guys don't know what Afrogen is, Afrogen Revolt is a podcast with me as well as Kay and Nina from Resistance Noir, and we talk about issues that we'll talk about pretty much all issues, but from a very radical Black woman's perspective. So check it out if you guys haven't heard of it. It's Afrogen, ROGYN. It's on Spotify and Apple Pods and all the other pods. All right. Thank you for the
Somebody said T.
I
T
knew
needs to lead by making sure the same.
I was looking at the same thing. I was cracking up the same thing.
You was looking at that?
I knew exactly what you were going for. Okay, so tell me.
Me and him, we always get each other.
Yeah.
T always doing stuff with me on here too, man. Cutting my mic off and shit.
Hold on, here we go.
Oh, and by the way,
real question. With the state of how our community is already broken, how we already have PTSD, how we already are not connecting already interculturally, the infrastructure of African Americans in general is just jammed up with or without money. Do you think, and what could be the process of once we get this money, of implementing it properly into our communities and really being able to allocate it where it makes sense and matters, and what's going to be necessary for that to happen?
The reason I isolated that one is because that's that argument that I hate. Where people, man. You know where I'm going, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That whole thing, like Black people are too stupid to handle money.
A problem for every solution.
Y'all dumb. Y'all got all this trauma. Y'all don't know shit. But either way, that conversation is so ridiculous because you're putting the cart before the horse. We ain't got no fucking money yet. What you talking about?
Right.
Why are you even having?
That's just them. They just trying to find a problem for every solution. That's all.
Oh,
100%. Yep. It's the same thing with that Dave Chappelle skit. You know, if they get the money, they're gonna spend it on Tim's or Jordans. Like, that's a very insulting thing. You know, the fact that they need their hands held, like they either deserve the money or they don't. Like, but I think a lot of times people are afraid for Black people to get responsibility. A lot of these bougie types, they're afraid that Black people are going to prove white people right and embarrass them. Mm-hmm. So they'd rather have Black people just receive the
permanent beggars class.
Yeah, and you know what? That's exactly is Black Panther. Like Black Panther, the whole problem is that Killmonger is supposed to be bad because he's duplicating the oppressor. Yeah. And that's a story that they always share. But if that was the real problem, why are they okay with the oppressor? And the real problem is they're afraid of they're like, I'd rather a white oppressor than a black oppressor, because they think they're afraid of what being under a black person is going to be like. They feel like, you know, white people may be oppressive, but everything runs on time, everything is good. You know, you let black people get in charge, and you know, these good white folk, they might be fucked up, but they're efficient, they're smart, you know.
Shout out to Rock the Mic for the donation. Also, he says, do you guys remember Tavis Smiley's State of the Black Union Forum? He hosted it for several years until Obama pulled the rug from under him and made the black intelligentsia his surrogate. Basically made them
Oh yeah, and they got at Tavis Smiley too. They were like,
really did.
He's just mad because he can't be a gatekeeper to Obama. He's just mad because Obama won't kiss the ring. And it's like, no, this is actually an important forum. And the idea that Obama would skip the State of the Black Union to go on, you know, MSNBC or CNN or go to like whether it's white-owned networks or white-owned like panels and forums, etc. Like he deemed those important enough. But where it came to the community, it's like, well, you're all just supposed to fucking fall behind me. What the hell do you think? I'm actually just gonna show up and have a conversation with you?
And when he did do black media,
talk shit to you.
Yeah, he would do things like, I think, Tom Joyner and Ricky Smiley, like stuff that was not really gonna press him on political issues, like entertainment, you know.
No, it was to get a tongue bath. You know,
Well,
it was for them to talk about him as a transformational candidate, and they would just lob softball questions at him. I can't even remember like a lot of the questions he was. Well, a lot of the questions he was getting back then was about his life, about you know, what they wanted to hear from him was him being able to repeat out of a politician's mouth the same things that they've been saying about like oppression or suffering in the community for X amount of years, and they know that they were going to have it come back with that political spin. This like sort of American aspirationalism, like I believe that we can actually achieve equality, and I believe that, you know, issues in the community can be addressed through government policy. We just need to create tangible solutions and da-da-da. Like he never actually came back to them with policy. They just wanted to feel seen, that he actually understood what the issues in the community were without having to come up with any solutions for them.
Yep.
Here's another clip.
And we are talking about his contract with Black America, and some very legit questions here. Vivica, before we went to break, you asked about if the current administration has not done it in 3.5 years, why now is this massive push with 2 weeks before the election? I understand, Ice Cube, you've been working with this since June, July, but we're hearing about it now. So it looks really, I think a lot of Black folks, it looks very, like I feel like I don't, and I know this isn't your intention, but I feel like, you know how they use us all the damn time. You know what I mean?
I mean, both sides use celebrities, but check this out. The thing is this.
See, you don't
I'm
have
not
the
here saying he's gonna do anything.
Hold on, what's that?
Is this? I don't see the video for some reason. I only see
the video's frozen.
The video's frozen.
Yeah, like you can hear them talking, but
is it just me? Because I didn't mean that.
No. Let me see. It shouldn't be frozen, but let's see. Is it still frozen?
Why now is this massive push with 2 weeks before the election? I understand, Ice Cube, you've been working with this since June, July, but we're hearing about it now. So it looks really, I think a lot of Black
hold on, I'm gonna fix it.
like I feel like I don't, and I know this isn't your intention, but I feel like
this is crazy.
You know how they use us all the damn time.
You know what I mean?
Can you see it now?
I mean, both sides.
Yeah, now you see it. So for people who don't know who these people are, that's Claudia Jordan with the glasses on.
And some very legit questions here.
When it gets to the fourth
you asked about if the current administration has not
I'll
done
stop
it
it so you can explain
why
the video.
now is this massive push with 2 weeks before the election? I understand, Ice Cube, you've been working with this since June, July, but we're hearing about it now. So it looks really, I think a lot of Black folks, it looks very, like I feel like.
Okay, so if you want to explain who the people are.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, what were you gonna say, Mario?
No, I was gonna say the real damn question is, why haven't y'all been asking these questions this whole time?
Okay. Okay, well, I was just gonna say who these people were though, real quick. So Claudia Jordan was a model initially. She was like in the Joe video, like a video model sort of thing. Then I think she was like one of the suitcases on what's the name of that game show with the suitcase? Howie
Mandel. I forget what it's called, but with the banker and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I forget what it's called.
She was one of the suitcases on that, and she used to
Let's Make a Deal, or
no, it wasn't called that.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't Let's Make a Deal. It was called. I will bet money on it. It's not called Let's Make a Deal.
Okay.
Let's Make a Deal is an older one. This is called something else. Someone in the chat's gonna know.
Deal or no deal.
Yeah, Deal or No Deal. That's what it is.
Deal in it. That's all I knew. Okay, so she was on that shit, and she was also on the Foxhole Sirius Radio. I think she's other than like little small stuff. Now, funny enough, Fox Soul. You guys even know what Fox Soul is?
Vaguely. I don't have it on my cable thing.
They're online. They're digital. They're not on cable.
Oh, that makes sense.
So yeah. So I've actually been interviewed on that network before, talking about atheism, but they are. It's basically this very constructed Black space. So they have people like Claudia Jordan on here this is her show. This is actually initially her show. She has her own show on there. And so what they're trying to do is create this Black space for Black discussion. That's supposed to be serious discussion. But to be honest with you, the people that they got they're not like, I'm trying to think who's like a really great, they're not even like an Ananda Lewis who can like ask really good questions, who's actual journalism, knows journalism, that kind of thing. You guys pretty much know everybody else. I'm sure Vivica Fox, Syleena Johnson, the singer, and Lisa Raye. But I just wanted to make sure you guys knew who these people were. Claudia is not as famous, but she tends to well, let's finish it and I'll get into that later.
Okay.
And I know this isn't your intention, but I feel like you know how they use us all the damn time. You know what I mean?
Both sides use celebrities, but check this out. The thing is this, I'm not here saying he's gonna do anything, but he didn't make a promise to me. He made a campaign promise to the world. So he's on record for that. Now, we wanted Joe Biden on record. He has a plan, but I don't know if his plan really pinpoints Black people. So we want a plan that pinpoints Black people. We don't know if any of them gonna do it. But when you have a person on record as a campaign promise, you have more to go at him with, because he's told the world this is what he's gonna do. And if he doesn't deliver, he looks bad to everybody.
By the way, if anybody ever wants me to stop to chime in, just let me know. This is about a 4-minute clip, but you guys can hop in at any time. Just let me know and I'll pause it.
Now, why hasn't dude done it in 3 years? I don't know. Nobody's been pressing him. Everybody's been like, he's the boogeyman, run, and nobody's been pressing him on behalf of Black people, because we've been just waiting for Democrats to get back in.
I do not agree with you on that statement. There has been
they start getting wild on this one.
People that have asked him, what about the wall? What about the kids in cages? I mean, there's a lot of things that
I understand
me,
that.
I'm not going to give him no plus signs whatsoever.
But what does the wall? What does the wall? Kids in cages have to do with the Black
community issues?
There you go.
Oh my God!
Thank you.
What are you talking?
That's how reflexive it is for us to mute.
No, you're wrong. He talked about the wall. What does that have to do with us? What are you talking?
It's a reflex. We don't even examine it anymore. In fact, on Twitter, somebody said before we started the show, she was like, all these Black people talking about a Black agenda, they're all anti-Black because they're denying that gay Black people and Black women are, part of the Black community. And I was like, that doesn't even make any sense. Only with Black people even try to offer something so stupid. Like if she came out her mouth and said immigrant advocates are stupid for asking for things for immigrants because they're denying that some immigrants are women and some immigrants are gay, people would be like, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. But this thing, 1,000 likes. Once people hear something said about Black people that has to do with them subjugating themselves, their mind checks out because it's so natural to think of Black people subjugating themselves under other people. So they don't even examine how stupid it is until you spit it back at them using another group substituted for Black, and suddenly everyone's like, okay, yeah, that is kind of stupid. But it just shows how reflexive it is for us.
That was like I forget who it was. Some dude. Oh, it was Kid Noble. It was the dude that went up for Timothy Ann Burnside, the curator of the hip hop exhibit at the Natural Museum of African American History and Culture. But I think I forget what he said. He said something about, it was after 50 Cent made his like endorsement of Donald Trump, and he said, black men truly are the weakest link. And it was because of the amount of black men that were supposedly about to support Trump. I said, man, shut the fuck up already. And I posted, like, granted, like, in a way, I'm kind of playing into the whole idea that loyalty to the Democratic Party is commensurate or synonymous with loyalty to the black community. But I showed, a news article that came out a couple of days ago that said that something like 39% of Latino males are planning to vote for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I was like, man, shut the fuck up. And he responds to me, he's like, well, I was talking about the black community. I'm like, yeah, I can fucking read. I'm very clear on that. Are you unable to make such a thing as a comparison? Does it not occur to you that? Hey,
and I just think he never talks about non-black people. You know what I mean?
Never. And the only people that we ever talk about this way is ourselves. And it's like, I don't know how many times I have to post this fucking this clip from a Kwame Ture speech where he says, anytime you make an analysis of an oppressed people in any aspect of their life and you leave out the oppressor, you will never come to a correct analysis. On the contrary, you'll blame the oppressed for their problems. So for some reason, it's like, it's okay to bring in white supremacy, class, imperialism, all sorts of things where it comes to examining, like Latino culture or people from the Middle East and North Africa, etc. Like, you have to be able to bring nuance into geopolitics. But where it comes to black people in America, it's just like, analysis. What the fuck is that? No, I just niggas need to shape up. And it's like, damn, how do you have so much patience and grace and room and nuance for other people, and you don't have it for your
because they can
people.
give them
You don't love
jobs.
your people. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, like, A, you don't love your people, and B, this is lucrative. This is what actually gets you bylines. This is what gets you panel appearances. Is like when people tweet like that, it's a fucking job interview.
I mean, I think even that phrasing is a trap. You don't love your people. That's not their people. They just have the same amount of melanin. Like that. Like, we naturally think in terms of community. We don't even think. That's not their people. I just highlighted this real quick because I'm like, what is Cube supposed to do? He can't just go out. You think if Cube doesn't act patient, it's going to go well for him? They will decontextualize that clip.
Everything,
Yeah. I mean, it has nothing to do about being patient. He's just being smart. He's not stupid. Like, you know how stupid he'd have to be to go on there and play into exactly what. Yeah, don't call that patience. That's smart. That's something different.
I wanted to know, I hope I'm saying your name right. Kamaria said Latinos for Trump always holding rallies in LA. You have to show me where in LA these motherfuckers at, because we got a lot of Latinos in LA, and I just don't see how you could safely, as a Latino, be pro-Trump.
Exactly. A lot of them are pro-Trump. You'd be surprised.
No. Listen to what I'm saying.
In LA.
We're not talking about Miami or even New York. It's a whole nother way of thinking. We're talking about real Mexicans and Salvadorans who don't fuck with Trump for real. And these motherfuckers will fight for the shit, like real fist fight. That's why I'm saying I just can't see where in LA they would be. Okay, so RL So Fly said they in Orange County.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Orange County is not LA, so let's be clear about that. That's a whole nother Orange County is where the white supremacists are. So,
well, let's see, because Kamaria herself didn't answer yet, so I'm curious what she's talking about.
In Huntington Beach or some shit.
Yeah, she'll chime in.
Yeah, there's no LA Latinos. I just can't even imagine you safely. I'm trying to think where in LA you could safely do that as a Latino or even as a white person in LA.
I'm just waiting for the Proud Boys to try to come through. I'm just waiting on that.
Yeah, you're right. They don't try that stuff in LA. You're right.
Oh man, man.
Okay, that's where, you know why they did Beverly Hills and Bel Air? Because that's where white people were. No, they noticed they did not do that shit in South Central, East LA, South Gate. They knew none of them shits. It wasn't in HP.
I think I know what I think they did. They were up in like Encino and in North Hollywood Hills and shit like that too.
Yeah, those were the white. They were with white. They had to only be with white people doing that.
But those are part of LA, or are they suburbs of LA? I'm not good at geography.
They're LA County.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them are still city of LA. It's hard. LA is a little bit tricky, but some places are city but not really
Pressing
their own city.
them to give things to Black people. These are country issues. I'm talking about Black people pressing him to give things to Black people. Everybody treated him like the boogeyman. Nobody would go.
You know what's crazy about that was that he had to explain that. Like they defaulted to for everyone, and he had to explain we're the only ones that do that.
Pressing to give things to Black people. The stuff that he's doing to the rest of the country, I understand, but we raggedy. We got to get our. We have to. We have to press any president that ends up winning. We have to press, or it's not going to work. We can't just press one side.
He says when we do press them that the other people are fine people. I mean,
but that's not what he said. She's not answering.
I mean, and he won't denounce the people that hurt us and suppress us. And then the policeman had his neck on somebody's neck.
What does that have to do with getting stuff for Black people? Like
what about all the people that got fucked up and killed when Obama was in office? If you're gonna play that card,
but
I mean, come on, man.
He said those are everybody issues. We're raggedy. We need things for Black people. And then she just brings up something totally not related to what he said.
They're missing the point. It's like they already knew what they were gonna say when he got on. So anytime that he's trying to recenter the conversation in Black community issues, it's almost like it's causing a short circuit in their head where it's like, well, wait, no, that has nothing to do with what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to say this instead.
You know what they're afraid of?
Completely different conversations.
You know they're afraid of too? They're changing on purpose because they feel like Black people being too direct is going to scare white people. That's what they think. Yeah. They think, let's just caper everyone. And then people are going to reciprocate. And that's a codependent way of thinking. A codependent thinks, if I just do everything for them that I'd want them to do for me, sooner or later, the narcissist is going to reciprocate. Yeah. And we're codependent people. And that's how we think about things. You're not supposed to ask a narcissist for things too directly, or they're going to flip out and you're going to blame yourself. And that's where they're at. I think they're trying to change the topic deliberately because they don't even want that on the table, asking for Black stuff. Anybody want to say anything before I hit play again?
No, go ahead. No, good.
Okay.
10 minutes. He never support them.
I'm not here to fight about what he did, what he didn't do. Is he a good white man? Is he a bad white man? To me, they pretty much all the same. So now,
I don't agree with that.
With that said,
she said, "I don't agree with."
Which remember, she's halfway.
I was.
So
I just want to say one thing real quick. I don't know if you saw the whole kerfluffle over Glenn Greenwald leaving The Intercept.
I saw it late in the day because I wasn't on most of the day.
Oh well,
I saw something about it. I didn't go into it.
Not being part of that discourse or participating in it is a form of self-care. But because because I've done interviews with Glenn Greenwald before, people were hitting me up and asking me questions like, "Oh yeah, so your boy Glenn Greenwald left Intercept. What do you think about that? Or what are your opinions?" And Glenn Greenwald went on Tucker Carlson. What do you think about this? And I'm just like, man, I don't fucking care. It's like one of the things that because I actually work in journalism, right? And I think that people who don't necessarily work in journalism don't know what the what the atmosphere is like, but you pretty much have to assume that all white people have some very fucking problematic aspects where it comes to race, and you take that with a grain of salt if you actually want to have any sort of contacts in the industry whatsoever. Now, if you want to just hang out with people that agree with the same things that you agree with, which you'll end up finding yourself on the same side of people that support imperialism, support deep state secrecy, will support the formation of the Black colony and the reinforcement of it. Like people who are very much okay with the democratic status quo, you can hang out in those circles, but I generally try to find people that are contrarians to talk to. But alongside that contrarianism goes some of these things being so compelled for free speech that you're okay with racists saying things online and not being moderated. You're okay with the KKK marching down the street. along with that contrarianism, at least from white people, goes a lot of other problematic aspects, and you just have to accept that. So the thing for me is like, for white people in media, to me, are all the same. Like you're never going to find somebody or white people in media that are not known to you, that you either like went to J school with, or you've known for a very long time and have learned things alongside you and have been able to like get closer to where you are. You're never going to be able to find like good people in media who are white. There's always going to be some sort of problematic aspect.
Did you cut off? Did you cut off? Yeah. But you're back. No, you're back now. You just lost you for a split second. Are you okay? Were you done?
I think
he's frozen. Oh, he's frozen.
I want to give a quick shout out to Justin F for your support. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, thank you, Justin. Much appreciated.
He said Resistance Noir 24/7, 365. You back?
Okay.
Yeah. Also, Claudia Jordan was a co-host for Tommy Sotomayor. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I just wanted to say one last thing is that like when he says, you know, they're all the same, it like they're all blown away by it. What do you mean they're all the same? They're not actually getting where he's coming from.
He's a good white man.
I was just gonna say,
yeah.
They totally missed where he was coming from.
What he was trying to say is that regardless if it's Donald Trump or it's Joe Biden, there are going to be problematic aspects to these politicians. They have done damage to the community. They believe things that are inherently dangerous to us. So me having a conversation with either of them is dangerous to me anyway. So fuck it. What loyalty do I have to Joe Biden? Let me go and have a conversation with Donald Trump.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I hate to admit this because I don't like what he did with the school and everything, but Umar Johnson had a good point about this, man. Like, you see that clip that was going around about Umar Johnson, and he was spitting. I gotta give it to him. It was this one.
The man has a mouthpiece. You can't take that away from him.
You can't take that away.
I don't like all the shenanigans, but
the stealing the money from the school. I don't like all that, but he be spitting. Like,
dude.
Yeah.
he is like one of the foremost black comedians that exists right now.
He be dropping some knowledge sometimes. I hate and he's comical in the next breath. That's what's funny.
I'm pretty sure I've said this before, but he's actually been on point with a lot of shit back in the day. Because I used to go to hear him speak whenever he would come talking about black what was going on in the schools as far as school psychologists and black boys. And at the time I was working in the schools and I saw everything he was talking about. So he has some shit, but then he'd start getting on some other shit.
But then he'll start saying some
shit. But then he
like,
steals money.
He steals money. And he also say like, some of these young black boys are lost and we got to put them to sleep. For good.
Real off the wall shit sometimes.
Yeah. Hold on, but listen to this.
Bush, Trump, the hood always gonna be the same. I mean, I remember I was out doing surrogate work trying to encourage people to vote. And a brother literally came up to me and told me he was too broke to vote. And he knew nothing was going to change. And
there's truth to that.
Yeah. And
there's truth to that.
And to that concept, as we know, the presidency is a popularity contest.
Yes, it is.
And, we understand the importance of local government.
Yes.
But in this situation, like the average black man's life isn't going to change directly in his mind.
Damn, I don't think this is the right clip.
Because politics is not the central driving force of black liberation. Let me say it again. Politics cannot be the central driving force of black liberation.
Stop
a support strategy, Nick.
The one thing, and this is why.
Why are you talking there, Steve? Come on now.
That was totally unintentional.
That was unintentional, but it worked out perfect.
Dr. Umar only fans. The reason that this man is so funny to me is because he knows the art of comedic timing and repetition. Even though the man is spitting, like even though he's still funny. I'm sorry, I can't watch him talk and not want to laugh.
He's just like he is like a really good preacher, the ones that make you laugh, and
right.
He knows what he's doing.
T. Hold on, T.
Yeah.
What did I tell you years ago?
You did. Mario said that from jump, and you're right. You're right.
What?
He's like a preacher. Yeah.
Major black agenda. It is not the Black agenda, but the NAACP, the Urban League, the Congressional Black Caucus, our Black sororities and fraternities, our grassroots organizations, the Black church, the Negro aristocracy have made Black people think that you can change everything if you elect the right person.
Right.
Nobody else believes in that garbage. And the reason why it's so easy to convince Black people to believe that, even Negroes with a high political IQ, is because at the end of the day, Nick, deep down inside of us, we don't want the responsibility that comes with true liberation. So you know what that would mean? That would mean 25% of your take-home pay got to go into the Black Liberation Fund. You understand me?
Yeah,
there will be people at your door to collect it. Do you understand me? That means
I think he's right that Black people don't want responsibility, and I felt like that was no to what
there's an already existing power structure that we are harmed by but are familiar with, and the idea of creating a new power structure that we are solely responsible for is so fucking frightening. It's just like
that's the same thing I said.
No. But I was getting somewhere with it.
Okay.
Right. It's like Moses leading the Jews in the wilderness. Like it took them 40 years. It took them 40 years in the desert before they actually found a home, and they wanted to go back to Egypt. They wanted to go back and live under Pharaoh. So like what he's saying is not just like true. He's not saying it like a preacher. He's actually like in a way like sideways referencing biblical writ. And I'm just gonna give a shout out to Kenny real quick. He said that Dr. Umar says things 2 times like Jimmy from Goodfellas.
Okay, but I still maintain that's what I said, that they don't want the responsibility. He's elaborated on why that is.
Oh my god. Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
I'm
gonna shut the fuck up.
It sounded like he was saying the same thing to me too. So maybe I'm lost. I don't know. Y'all smart.
Oh, don't do that.
Okay.
Let's say you have
I'm gonna shut the hell up.
200 disposable hours in your work week.
Right.
50 of them is volunteering for the liberation struggle.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have this amount of money in your retirement. Well, guess what?
Unfortunately, this wasn't a clip that I wanted.
Of that for this Black hospital, this Black bank that we Black folks don't want no accountability for liberation.
Right.
See, voting is easy. One time, go home.
Feel good about your vote.
Praying is easy. Go to church, pray one time, and go home. Right. But a true liberation movement requires sacrifice and accountability, and we don't want to do both.
Right.
I don't want to do anything for you, and I damn sure don't want you holding me accountable for what I didn't do.
Right.
So the reason why politics,
I mean, he's right, but at the same time,
bruh,
I don't want to give him my money either.
That accountability thing, bruh.
Yeah. Where's that money from the school? Like, if you want to talk accountability, so
Kenny does this.
What's that?
When he donates to himself. a lot of I'm guessing these Black people in today's climate wouldn't mind going back to the plantation, unfortunately. You know what's funny, Kenny? I had sort of the same visualization when Q was making that point as well. Like I pretty much had that vision in my head, like, okay, it's like the conversation when they would talk about the slaves that didn't want to leave the plantation because, like, where the fuck I'm gonna go? What's even out there? I don't even know. I know here
we can't see anything beyond where things are now. Yeah, so the work to do it is scary as hell to try to get there.
And to be fair, and I never could judge our ancestors for that because who knows? Like you even didn't go through half the shit that they've been through. But it's interesting because it's a kind of a legitimate question and a legitimate fear. What do we do? What is our plan? What is the plan moving forward? The only plan that we seem to like is voting for some reason. I don't even know why.
We want a benevolent master. I think that's what we kind of want.
And I think that's what it sounds like a lot of times to me as well. Like, who can be the nicer white supremacist?
Yeah, sadly. Going back to
and to Q's point, because he brought, I can go back to that screen, but that is basically what Cube said. I'm not looking to see who's the nicer white guy. It's by whoever is in this office. They're in power. And you know what? Other groups don't do that. I look at the Jewish community. They are very strong in making sure that they get heard regardless of who the fuck is in that office. They don't give a fuck.
And if everybody who does business at a high level does that. Like let's just take corporate America or whatever, right? Who the hell I don't like that guy, so I'm not doing. If you have to do we've all had to do business with people we don't care for. That's just the nature of the beast, right? So you can't, every time somebody's in office or whatever that you don't like, just throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, okay, well, let me wait 4 years until this guy is out, and then maybe I could try to do something that I want to go for. You know what I mean? You have to work within the boundaries that's there for you, man. You can't just give up every damn time.
Thanks for the donation, Harrison. I thought this was a great quote here from 12 Years a Slave. Black people want Benedict Cumberbatch. They don't want.
I did not get
no,
that.
it's not that they want. It's not that they want Benedict Cumberbatch and not Michael Fassbender. They want Benedict Cumberbatch and not getting free and going home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I have no clue because I've never seen that movie.
Oh,
yeah, you're not missing much. It's trauma porn.
Michael Fassbender was like the
I'm good on the trauma shit.
I don't agree with. Can I? I don't agree. I used to be.
Look. I know we've had all kind of presidents, and our situation hasn't changed. So that's why I said they're pretty much all the same when it comes to a president and dealing with our situation.
So let me. I gotta ask this question. Because you're on this show with the cocktails with the queens, and there's a reason for that. It wasn't to have you defend or not defend Donald Trump. It was about. I care about what's in this contract with Black America for women, and it's not. We're not mentioned at all in the contract with Black America. And
when you mention Black people, you mentioning Black women. So don't count yourself out.
No, that's not true.
How is that not true?
Well, I think when she gets to how she sees it, I kind of understood her point. I didn't agree with her, but I see she's basically saying that the same way people of color. You can't say this applies to Black people. When you say people of color, you can't say this applies to Black women if it applies to Black people. However, I don't agree with that point, but I think that's what she was trying to say.
Okay.
To say that when they
Black people is not Black women. Black women are not included in Black people.
No,
ladies.
But that's like that's like you saying. That's like when the president says minorities. Then
Lisa Raye ain't saying nothing. Look at
that. but she shut everybody up though.
Say one word in the whole thing?
She did. She said she agreed with him. Actually, watch. If you look when he said, "Are Black people include Black women?" She did say yes. But I'll give her props on something else. You'll see.
Because you're on this show with the cocktails with the queens, and there's a reason for that. It wasn't to have you. And it's not. We're not mentioned at all in the contract with Black America. And
you are mentioned. I mean, when you mention Black people, you mentioning Black women. So don't count yourself out.
No, that's not true. That's like administration say that when they
Black people
look, it's hitting her brain.
Black women are not included in Black people.
No, that's like when the president says minorities, then he's including Black people. But we all know that that's not the case. Black women have specific needs that are not also being met. And we also feel that there should be some things that are specific to us and our place as well. And I
understand that.
I feel like as a Black man, you can leave.
No,
I feel like
I just offered y'all to write a section up for it. I just said I don't mind if you guys help us. If you guys help us write a section.
Oh my God,
I've been open to all kind of.
I'm so mad. So notice Syleena said, I'm down. Vivica said, oh, so you want us to do the work. Oh my God. Okay.
That's exactly what Umar was talking about. That's exactly what Umar was talking about. People don't want the responsibility.
But finish this part. This part has me hot. So just, oh my God, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll back it up.
Vivica's up there just to be sassy, huh? She just.
I don't mind if you guys help us. If you guys help us write a section. No, I've been open to all kind of experts in putting this together. It wasn't just me. We dealt with experts.
But yeah, she was saying you're gonna put it on us. So basically, he's damned if he does it, damned if he doesn't. They want to.
They continue. They in fact, I think Claudia doubles down on the point, and I kind of wanted to.
Let me see if I have. I think I have that. I think I have that clip.
What part I'm talking about? Because she doubles down on that question, and he does a great job, I think, handling the conversation. But I do have a big problem with. Are you gonna put us to work?
Yeah, you're gonna put us to work. Yeah.
I want to watch how you handle it.
Of this contract with Black America, so we're willing to deal with experts in the section when it comes to women. So that's no problem.
Okay,
I'll help you write it. I'll help you write it
Say you do get the money. How soon do you think your plan is going to go into effect?
Now, first off, she didn't even answer the part about stepping up. She just switched to something else. Like she's just not having the idea.
Right.
When will we start seeing the benefits?
I'm not getting 1/4. Okay, this is something he's promising to the country, and he's gonna have to implement it in a way he feel that can fit.
Now let me ask you this: why did she never ask Joe Biden and Kamala Harris or Obama that? She never asked, "Hey, when are we getting?"
Right.
You know exactly why. That's Zaddy.
Yep. They would never have that level of accountability for a liberal.
Okay, but can I just ask though, what would you see this plan doing for the first year for us if he's reelected?
I'm not part of the administration.
Well,
I'm here for Black people. I'm here to talk to both administrations about the contract with Black America. The Platinum Plan is not mine. Didn't name it. Didn't put it together. All I did was meet about the contract with Black America. They added some things, and I'm willing to meet with both sides. They can add some things or not. It's fine.
And then, they ran off immediately and did statements that you're basically a Republican now.
That still has nothing to do with what he's talking about. Yeah.
No, don't notice her demeanor,
body language.
Like, okay, all that is. I don't believe anything you're saying. I'm not even listening to what you're saying because I have this idea in my head and I'm sticking with it regardless of whatever clarity you try to give me. Fuck it all. I got an idea. I'm sticking with it. Period.
What did Joe Biden or any Democrat do in their lifetime to get this level of loyalty? I would love to know.
I just, man. If I'm
that's on
with you.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were still talking. Stop it. Okay.
That ain't on me.
Okay.
That's on them. That's not on me.
I just want to make sure. We just want clarity.
We can't all talk at the same time. I got to ask a question, y'all. With over 20,000 lies told to the American people by this president, I'm a former friend of Donald Trump. I work with them. I made money with him. Personally, it would have served me better to still stay on his side. Why would you believe after he gets Black votes, his whole goal from 3 years ago was to siphon 20% of Black male votes to cross over to vote to support him? Yes. Why would we believe that he has, once he gets reelected, he will follow through with any of these plans, as opposed to Joe Biden and Kamala, who would be in their first term and be more indebted to do the right thing to get reelected for a second?
Has that ever happened?
They're always indebted. They're always indebted. They never pay the fucking debt. That's the problem.
That's the guy in Bronx Tale who was always running away. He owed the money. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the Democrats are to Black people. You get my money, and they run away.
Here's the thing that blows my mind though. She talked about I used to be Donald Trump. I made money with him, this, that, and the third. Right. So she's like, yeah, I was able to wet my beak with him and he didn't deliver on the community for me, even though I was able to make some money with him. But the idea that you would go to him and ask for things after I already was financially rewarded for, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
How are you with blood on your hands? How are you going to turn to him and be like, yeah, but why would you go to him and you still got blood on your hands? You know what I'm saying?
Well, my question is, how do you have all that, make you exactly what you're saying, make that point, only to land on some airheaded ass question? That's another one of my pet peeves. I hate when people put on glasses to sound smart, look at their fucking nose, only to look at the airheaded fucking.
Oh my God. Oh, thanks to Adidas for the donation. I'm still laughing at what Vita said.
Shout out. Thank you so much, Adidas. You didn't put a note on it?
Yeah.
Gifts.
Why should
that's it.
Why should we believe that Donald Trump would actually follow through? That's a legit question that I have.
He ain't followed through.
I mean, I don't know. You're gonna have to figure that out because I'm not sure if he's gonna do it or not. I'm not sure.
I wish that he would have said, how do you guarantee that any of these people are gonna put it back? Exactly. I wish that if there was one thing that I would critique him slightly on in this, is he didn't enough time to me put the emphasis back on accountability for both parties.
He accepts their framing a lot.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it.
These guys are gonna do. All I know is we got to push our agenda, no matter who's in there. And in a perfect world, you know, the Biden campaign would have brought me in and we would have really talked about the plan, and they would have did, you know, great things to their plans to specifically target Black people, but they chose not to, and that's fine. You know, but the thing is, I'm not a supporter of neither one of them.
No, I'm saying
so
it's not too late.
That's what's the problem. I'm an independent person.
You'll have a conversation with the administration if Biden wins and Kamala wins. It's not too late. So I don't think it's fair to like dismiss what they are. They're not in power yet. So they really can't say. They really can't say and promise things because they're not yet in power. We're not even in power in Congress.
You can't make campaign promises.
So why
and they have. That's
what the plan. Make the promise when they're in office.
Wait, she's saying that we should wait until their office for them to even make the promise. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First she said
that's what we've been doing.
No, first she said they're not in office yet. And he's like, they don't have to be in office to make the promise. And then she seriously said, why should I make the promise now? First I have to get into office. So basically, that's like saying, hey, I got a product in this box. It's $2,000. Well, can you tell me what it does? Give me the $2,000. I'll tell you what's in the box and what's in the product.
Right.
It's
not
even that. It's not even just the request. Like, give me the $2,000. It's being incredulous. It's like, why the fuck would I tell you what's in this box?
Yeah,
if
exactly.
I don't have $2,000 first. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Like getting indignant about it. You're absolutely right. How dare you ask me to tell you what's in this damn box? You've got some goddamn nerve. Ask me what's in this box. Just give me your damn money. Oh God! God!
What the hell's wrong with you? Just take the box.
When they actually talk about that women's portion, I think they get back to it.
Yeah, they get back to it. I think I have it. It's in the last clip that I have.
Yeah. They put out the Lift Every Voice Can Sing plan. That is their promise to America and to the world. That is their promise. So the thing is,
that's the irony. He actually did give a promise. He actually has a Black section on his site, which is what he's talking about, which shows they don't even know what they're talking about. They didn't even look to see if Biden made a promise. They just preemptively said he doesn't have to.
That was I was gonna get there, which was that they say that Trump is not going to follow through on his promises, but they're not naming what the promises are. And that's actually like a problem on Ice Cube's part as well, because Trump's his like pledges and policies for the Black community is on his website. Very same as Joe Biden's pledges and promises are on his website. You know what the funny thing is when he says that, well, one is as good as the other, or they're both just as bad or whatever. The funny part is that you could barely fit a manila folder between Joe Biden's policies and Trump's policies when it comes to the Black community, like what their actual promises are. Yeah. They're not that different.
Yeah.
So if they have a problem with him accepting Trump's framework as to what the deliverables are for the Black community, one thing he could have easily done is just go to both of their websites and then compare the two. But again, nobody in this conversation is a journalist. Nobody in this conversation is a political scientist. So we get a bunch of dumbass talking points.
Well, I think Cube is saying that he did. Isn't the Lift Every Voice and Sing promise by Biden or not?
Is it Lift Every Voice or Lift Every Voice and Sing?
Lift Every Voice and Sing. Oh, sorry. You're right. It's Lift Every Voice. Joe Biden's
the African American national anthem.
Yeah, well, I know it's named after that. But I thought he included the whole title. But he stopped at Lift Every Voice. But
I find that interesting that just real quick, the name of it is always the names of things that are targeted towards Black people is always interesting to me. It's called Lift Every Voice for a reason. That's a very targeted demographic. So when I heard that, exactly. So we're talking about, my mom's age and older.
Right.
So that was
the funny thing about the Trump plan is, who does that appeal to? It's called the Platinum Plan.
The hip hop community, young Black people. He's aligning himself with people that he feels like young Black males in particular would be interested in hearing from. It's called the Platinum Plan.
What's funny with this correction that Cube did, right? They were saying, oh, they don't even have to make a promise. They should get into office first. And then Cube told them, actually, he did Lift Every Voice plan. He does have a promise. So it kind of shows Cube is actually knows more about what Biden's promising black people than even these people.
I missed that. I missed that. I didn't even hear him say that.
Yeah. Watch. I'll back it up now. Right. She's talking about they don't need to do a promise, and you'll just see. I don't need to repeat
every voice.
You can't make campaign promises. So why they have? That's what the
plan. Make the promise when they're in office.
Well, they put out the Lift Every Voice Can Sing plan. That is.
So that's where I got the malapropism. He put it in there. But so you see, she said, why promise now? He's supposed to get into office first, and he said, what are you talking about? He already did make promises, so so that's even worse. That's another thing where right next to the box there's actually a list of everything in the box, and you didn't even bother to look while you're arguing with this person. Yeah,
their promise to America and to the world. That is their promise. So the thing is, you can always promise the people who put you in power.
But that just shows all her arguments aren't even real. She just knows that she wants to go for Biden, and they're just throwing everything against the wall and to see what sticks without even checking. So she didn't even look to see if Joe Biden did a promise. She's just bullshitting. She's just throwing shit out and see if it works.
Then more than what you just came up with, you gotta, especially when you know there's so much more that needs to be done, and he knows that it's so much that falls short in that plan when it comes to actually helping black people, minority, people of color, diversity. All those are trick words, and black people don't necessarily get a tenth of that. So
yeah. I thought I heard somebody about to talk.
We have to really be smart and really make sure that money is touching the hands of the people who have really struggled in this country.
You would think he's talking about eating babies. Yeah, you would think he's talking about eating babies. If you were to turn the sound off and look at
for hundreds of years.
I have a question. You said that the Biden can't.
Yeah. So.
Look at Lisa, right? she looks like she knows a train wreck going on. She don't want to. She feels sorry for everybody involved.
Yeah, she wants like no parts of it. She's like,
making sense. And I think that's what bothers me. It's like they're making absolutely no sense.
No sense.
There's some really great.
They're telling him,
but there are hard-hitting questions you could ask Q. If you really just want to really get to some real meat, but it's not about that. The only issue is that Trump has used his image and has used that story to promote himself. So, but you can't be mad at Q for that. So
what it really was is they wanted to take a strip out his hide is what it really was. Like they're dressing it up as a political conversation, but the real purpose that he's there is so that they can castigate him. So I don't know that if they were interested in a political conversation, they would have had a political conversation, but nobody in the conversation has talked about policy at all. Like the policy hasn't come up. It's just been a matter of, well, why would you go to him if yada, yada, yada? If you're not going to have a policy conversation, that's fine, but then don't dress it up that way.
Yeah, and they clearly didn't read anything.
What do you mean, Q? She has on glasses and she keeps looking at her notes. Clearly,
I don't know. Like, what is she looking at? There's nothing that she said that couldn't have come off the top of her head. Like, I don't know what this is.
Right.
Try clicking a shopping list.
Like your notes have those stupid ass questions on it. You should be slapped for that.
No, she's shopping on Amazon right now. Like she's looking at a laptop.
I want to say, Cube, I hear what you're saying, but I just want you to know, as Black women, how we would feel with there's no mention specifically.
This is the return you're talking about.
In the contract with Black America, they do have.
You stand on top of that. I just told you can write that up. If you
it's not. We're not out here jumping on calls.
We all Black, so we all.
We're not meeting up with Jared Kushner and Donald Trump about this. You are. So you can't say, well, if you don't like it.
You made money with him. What the fuck? Where does she have the moral high ground here? You made money with him. How's she talking down to him? Like he had a conversation. You were in business together. What the shit?
It gets worse.
Sorry, go on.
Keep going. No, I want you to keep playing because I want to really.
I was gonna say what also makes no sense is she's saying you're the one who's gonna meet with them. He's telling you to write it to give to him. So if he's gonna meet with him, then write it up and give it to him. Like why did she act like? I'm sorry. Go on.
Out here, you took that job. You took that position.
I'll write it up.
So don't say you.
I'll write up the Black woman's part of the contract for you.
Good. We got 200 million
how many words do y'all want it to be? The thing is, you guys are the experts, but here we go again. You just want to talk. Nobody want to help me. Just want to talk. But y'all the experts on Black women, so why won't y'all help me? See, that's the problem.
I can tell you why. What my you just let me party. So anyway,
the initiatives have already been set.
I wish you got we're way over. We're way over.
And then that was basically it. That was
okay. So let me tell you what really pissed me off about that. He literally says, "Fine, it's not in there." Which honestly, I don't even think it was really necessary. But hey, if they want it, he's like, "I'm down to listen. I'm down to give me something." No, that's not our response. Who the fuck else's responsibility is it? You just told a man to talk about women's issues. You make no fucking sense. How can he write it? Tell him what the fuck it is. You sit up here talking about that's not our job. We're not in meetings with these people. Who gives a fuck? What they got to do with you writing up something to give to him? It's just such.
And then he actually writes it. They're gonna be like, but you didn't include this. You didn't include
that. Thank you.
Yeah. And he makes a really good point.
Or they're gonna talk about how misogynistic it is for a man. Oh, go ahead.
Right, but the thing is, he said. I forgot my point now, but I had.
You got so heated, you knocked the point right out of your head.
Yeah. Yo, Mario, you just did the same thing that we're asking Ice Cube to do, which is to erase the experiences of Black women.
This is what happens. Black male patriarchy. It's what you do with your privilege, Mario.
Exactly. I know.
Black men center themselves. This is
oh man, I gotta check my privilege.
Mario's canceled in real time. Now you gotta.
I gotta check my privilege.
Oh man.
No, but go ahead, make your point. I actually did lose mine because I was on fire and you stopped me.
Oh man.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
hold on. Here is something. Anybody who gets a chance, y'all should go to the Cocktails with Queens comments because they got lit up. I literally saw no positive comments for them on that thing. Everybody was going in on them. I recognized some heads off of Twitter. I saw some like ADOS people I've seen on Twitter, but everybody was going in on the Queens. It was really funny. It's literally the most unanimously negative. Usually like one or two. You know what makes them really messed up is on top of everything else, they're not in with that academic Professor Crunk crowd. They're still too embedded in the Black community and stuff. So even that crowd's not going to come in. The SJWs, even they're not going to come in and help them.
I think they were outside of their lane. They clearly don't have producers that prep them for their shit. And like I said, I've been to that studio. They don't have a big budget. They've only been around since like November of last year, so they're really new.
Get me on there, Vita.
Would get you on there? I probably could.
Get me on there.
Though, because I got into it with the host on my interview. I'll send it to you. But
oh yeah, please let us see that. That'll be good.
No, I'll send it to y'all. I ain't posting it. But no, but yeah, I don't because they haven't done research. There's no team that gives them research. I think they were out of their lane. They need to stick to like generic ass topics because I feel like if you're going to be responsible to have a platform that talks about politics with somebody who is taking politics very seriously, then you have to do your research and know what you're talking about. What are the issues? And and to invite somebody clearly for the purpose of attacking them is to me disgusting, especially when you're talking to somebody who's not trying to be harmful. Even if I felt like what he was doing was problematic, I don't think it's going to get anywhere. But even if I felt like he was doing something problematic, I still would want to get full insight on what his perspective was. And they didn't even want that. All they wanted to do was argue with him.
And also, it's important to get this conversation started on a mainstream level now. That's why I'm very happy that Cube is doing this, because this is a way to get people to really start talking about this stuff now in a mainstream platform. So this could be, I don't know what it's, it won't have the effect that we want it to have now, but next election time and going forward, maybe this is a serious conversation that's going to get out there more. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Now, sorry, go on. Here's another great one. Now It's Roland Martin. Hopefully, these guys will do better. It's Roland Martin and Alicia Garza. This is the intellectual, the hard-hitting political pundit. Hopefully, this is gonna really.
Oh God!
Wait.
Actually, this is interesting. I actually thought this was interesting.
Yeah, you guys don't seem as on board with this as I am. Let's see.
I want to bring in Alicia Garza, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. She also is with the Black Feature.
I'm sorry, were you gonna say something, Vito?
No, I'm just laughing because of how he says her name.
She started up another group, Black Voters Matter. She's
yeah. She got two groups. She got the Future Foundations Lab or something, and Black Voters Matter.
Man,
but then soon as
I think one of them is part of Black Lives Matter. It's like their policy cohort.
Oh, maybe. I mean, she left for the Futures Lab, and when you looked up her name anywhere, that's all she had. And then after George Floyd died, she basically took the shutters off of Black Lives Matter. Like she pulled the cloth off the old jalopy and took it for another spin. She was like, "This thing's got a couple extra miles after all."
I heard they took that section off to talk about dismantling the nuclear black family and all. I heard they actually took that section off.
Yeah, they took all.
It reminds me of Vin Diesel at the end of the first Fast and Furious movie, where
he
goes
to
the garage and dusts off his dad's old car.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what she did. She was like, "It looks like we got some extra miles left on this thing. Let's see."
Lab, Q. You may not be aware of this. You may be aware.
And I was gonna say real quick, Isaac, if you are out here dissing septum rings and I'm in this conversation, I don't want to catch splash damage from Nina. We've already, like, Ali has already barely escaped with his life, bagging on women with septum rings, and I can't. I'm sorry, I can't let you do that in this chat because I have to answer to Nina. You don't.
Okay.
Me too. So
this massive Black Census project. They surveyed, if I'm correct, Alicia, some 30,000 African Americans. They put this whole thing together. How long are they taking? When did y'all release this, Alicia?
And I want y'all to spot a theme with her. I've never seen somebody so on theme about something, but unfortunately not something good.
We released it in 2019.
So Cube, here was this initiative that they put together, and I would love. And again, when we had you on last time, and Reese was talking about the lack of stuff when it comes to Black women, and you said, "Hey, you love to hear from her." I would love for the two of you to actually talk about this, because both of you want to really achieve the same thing, and that is achieve things for Black people. And so, Alicia, go right ahead. If you have a question for Ice Cube, you got a question for Alicia, go ahead.
Hey, Cube, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
He didn't ask how you doing.
I mean, I guess my first question would be, we're in the midst of an incredible movement moment. Folks are all over the country, have been organizing for over 7 years, if not longer, trying to turn Black Lives Matter into a movement that can impact not just protest, but also policy.
Hold on. People, she acted like the struggle started with her. She didn't say there's been people on the ground before she existed,
Which we know there have.
I wish we had Ashley Brown in this conversation, because she would have fucking flamed her for that.
Yeah, that would have been a good one to have in this conversation. I didn't think about that.
And you know what's interesting in this conversation? So I watched the whole thing. She takes clear offense to the idea of Cube being a part of this work, and you have all these people on the ground who don't have type of access that he has, who've been doing this work for years. And to be clear, as a community organizer on the ground here in LA, I understand that sentiment. There's nothing that's more frustrating than you have been doing all this work, and then some celebrity comes in, and all of a sudden they become the forefront of that. So I get that.
But the problem.
The problem I have here is that at the same time she's getting upset at him, she's doing the exact same thing.
That's what I was gonna say.
I get that part, that sentiment, but you can't have that sentiment and then turn around and do the exact same shit. Because I can tell you for a fact there have been people on the ground for decades, long before this woman even existed.
Yeah, I mean, we interviewed Tori Russell on the podcast as one of the people that she took the spotlight away from just to become a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? She took away the spotlight from real organizers to become a celebrity. She wants to be Cube. That's what she wants to be.
That's why she's always on MSNBC saying nothing but ridiculous shit.
Yep, just talking nonsense.
Chance to read both versions of the contract with Black America. And I'm just curious, are there activists or organizers in this movement that you've been connected to who have been doing some of this legislative advocacy?
Now, basically, she's making her pitch. That's what she's doing. Have you been, first off, assuming that he hasn't, right? But this, all she's going to do this whole thing. She does not talk about a single freaking issue. Every single thing out of her mouth is trying to get paid. I don't know how people don't see what a fraud this person is.
And did he say that it was a move, that he was trying to create a movement? Is that where he he was going?
I don't think he did. Good point.
No, but I think that's her problem is that he's not seeing it as a movement. He sees
exactly.
See work.
Yeah, we connected with ADOS, and we helped get a bill passed in California. Governor Gavin Newsom passed AB 3121.
She just nodded because she doesn't actually care. She just wanted to try to get in there. So now she's like, shit, he did talk to people. Now I got to think of a different angle. She doesn't actually care about this answer. It wasn't a serious question. She just thought she could get.
You could see the gears turning. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like
she did. She thought that he was gonna. I think that was asked as a gotcha question, personally.
Yeah. I think it was both.
I
think you're right. I think it was a gotcha question, and then she was gonna make her pitch. Well, why don't you work with me? Were you gonna say more? Did I cut you off?
No. You were good. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what she really wanted. She wanted him, like Mario said, do a gotcha, and then she was gonna pitch herself as his right hand, and it didn't work.
They want to make him look incompetent. That's what the whole thing is.
But to be fair, when Roland Martin transitioned to them asking each other questions, that was the purpose, was to get them to get together. So I can't say she's like, oh, I want to pitch and work with me, when that was literally what Roland Martin wanted to happen. That's what he said before he had them.
But then to me, I agree. But then why ask who he's been working with? Why not just say, can I help you? But I think she was trying, I agree that you're right, that's why he put them together, but I still am not crazy about the way she did it, like trying to do the gotcha is what.
No, I understand. I just want to make sure, put that in context though, because it wasn't like it was random and she just said work with me.
That's fair. Yep. You're right.
Starts the conversation about reparations in California. So we have been connected with a grassroots organization. We want to connect with as many grassroots organizations who are not connected to any other so-called powers that be.
Yep.
Got her.
He made clear, I know what you're about. It's not you.
Thank you. He knows exactly who she is and what they all about. Oh man, I love it.
That was nice.
Damn. Wow.
Grassroots.
Go on. You're saying?
No, you're good, bro.
Okay. We definitely want to connect with them. People.
He said them, not you. He said I want to connect with them.
No, notice he said grassroots. He knows that she's not that anymore.
Who really just want to see money get in the hands of the people who built this country and the ancestors and family of the people that built this country.
Do you think that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization?
Oh, this question.
Yeah.
Yup. She jumped right to some bullshit.
This is the thing, though. That's not even the question. That's not even the question. That's just how she's setting up to get to the question.
Because I know for the last year.
Wait, let me back it up a little bit. Because
go on. T, this is like shortening my lifespan right now listening to this, man.
People that built this country.
Do you think that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization? Because I know for the last year I've been getting death threats. I have security now 24/7 because Donald Trump and his administration has been targeting me and Patrice and Opal and thousands of other activists across the country. I understand what you're saying about trying to talk to the people in power.
Wait, here's a quick thing. Why did she not why did she ask about the grassroots organization and didn't follow up? Like, she totally didn't care about the answer. She just
That's what I'm
right
saying. That wasn't her question. It was a rhetorical question. It wasn't even her real question.
Exactly.
But anyway, go ahead and finish, and I'll get to what I gotta say.
Actually, that's actually really it's interesting how she did that, because she didn't. What she's trying to ask is, why would you try to work with somebody whose following has been toxic and dangerous toward us? That's a question you can ask. But when she says, do you think that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization, what she's doing is she's setting up Ice Cube to be Donald Trump in blackface.
Right.
So for you to have a conversation with him, you must therefore believe the same things that he believes. And if you don't believe that, then why are you talking to him?
That's why I wanted him to finish that clip so she can basically say what you just said.
But I think there is a difference here in terms of who we align ourselves with. And I can't at all say that I take a neutral stance here. You haven't endorsed Donald Trump explicitly, but I am just curious about how you meet those things and how you match those things. How do you put forward a Black agenda with the president that is attacking Black people, attacking Black organizers, attacking Black activists, and literally daring and threatening to throw us in jail for the organizing that we've been doing?
Well, both candidates, have their record of what they've done to Black people. You can look at them and see them out. I don't think Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. So that's what I think. What the president think about Black Lives Matter, that's his personal problem. Right now we feel that somebody's going to be the president. I would love to work with both parties. I'm not against the Biden campaign or nothing like that. Whoever becomes the president.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So so notice he just was answered her fucking stupid question and kind of went back to his point. Because first of all, what does any of that have to do with anything he's doing? Like Q said, it was really just a setup to make it look like he's aligned with Trump. Notice that she said you haven't explicitly. He hasn't implicitly either.
Right,
But she can't say, but for some reason, much like on the cock queens of the cocktails, whatever that shit's called. I don't know what this shit's called. But but just like that, it's like, okay, let me stick with this idea I have in my head, even though you're telling me something totally different, because I believe this thing and I want to stick with it. What does now to be fair, she is right. What she's saying does happen. Like I said, I know one of the founders personally, and I know the shit she's been through, like real shit. I have friends who were with her when guns were drawn on them. So I know for a fact what she's saying is true. No, they are followed, the FBI, all that shit is like real shit. They're considered terrorists and they have a lot of issues that they do. So that's true. But what does that have to do with Q presenting an agenda or a plan to Trump? It has, those two they're not correlated. They're nothing alike.
Facts. Can I ask this though? How long has she been receiving death threats and all of this kind of stuff? Because I'm sure it's
with Obama.
Her personally, I don't know.
Just start this with Trump. Not just start with Trump.
Oh, exactly.
I know that for a fact. Because I know
you're absolutely right. Because
they're not going to stop under Biden.
Yeah, it was.
Exactly. So I just feel like, and I got into a big old argument
under Obama.
Exactly. And I got into it with some people on Twitter the other night about this because I said I just felt like that was her an attempt at some type of emotional manipulation right there in order to draw sympathy and then, use that to kind of whip him into shape or whatever. But I mean, it's like this. I know for a fact that these people have been getting fucked up since 2014. You know what I'm saying? Like this has been going on well before Trump was ever in office.
Yep.
And so it's just so manipulative and disgusting for her to sit there and try to use that those traumatic experiences as some type of political leverage to get him to bow down, man. That's disgusting.
Right. And on top of that, they're not even just her experiences. There are a lot of organized,
a lot of people
around that are going through that same shit, and they also know that shit has been happening under Democratic presidents as well. Yep. Very much so. In fact, one of the Congress people who she's her name is Karen Bass. I know her personally as well. She was actually one of my mentors that taught me how to be a community organizer. And I know for a fact that when she was, doing organizing in the community, that the FBI was sneaking in her house. So you're talking about this shit has always, and this is like in the 90s. So
wow,
right. So and I'm amazed she's even in Congress, to be real with you. But so my point is just that shit is real. That shit is traumatic. And like you said, to use that to try to create for this other point that's not even related is really sick, and it's disingenuous. Very people that you claim that you're trying to stand up for. You've been hanging around them white women too much when you start doing that shit.
I mean, she was raised with them.
You went there and started kicking it with them.
Her name is Alicia Schwartz. She didn't learn from them. She was raised with them. Her name is Alicia Schwartz.
I don't know her. I only know one of the other.
Yeah. Oh my God. She was raised in a rich part of town. And actually, you know what? Remind me to get to that, because the article, she has an excerpt of a memoir coming out, and it came out. She talks about her upbringing, and it's a load of bullshit too. And also, I disagree with Isaac here, because Isaac's saying that he's being too conciliatory. See, like, what you want him to do is just start barking, and that's the exact last thing he needs to do. This is, I think, very good.
You gotta see, he already sliced her up, bro. Yep. She got sliced up the first 30 seconds of the introduction when he said, we work with grassroots movements and not people who are affiliated with any big, and she knew what he was talking about. That's why she moved on to a different subject matter. So you got to look at the subtleties in the game, man. That was excellent when he did that.
Yeah, and Isaac is not agreeing. He's saying subliminal shots aren't effective. No, it did work.
It's not a subliminal shot.
They weren't even
it wasn't subliminal, exactly.
Because we got it. So clearly it wasn't subliminal. We got the message. But
she got the message.
But I will say this, in watching the whole interview, I do think there were things that Ice Cube clearly hadn't done his own research on. At least it didn't sound like it. Because it didn't sound like he had knew what organizations have been doing work. One of the things that does piss me off as an organizer is when people tell me, oh, there's nobody doing nothing in the community. And the thing when people say that is because they're not doing anything in the community. So to me, when Cubes makes it sound as though he hasn't released it, I won't say he hasn't, but to me, it didn't seem like he was like, I'm building upon what already exists. It was like, oh, this didn't exist, and I'm going to step out here and do it. And he said,
you're saying Cuba saying that?
Yeah, he basically said that a few times. That basically. Nobody was doing this, so I stepped. He said in this interview, I think it was this interview, and he said, I did it because nobody else was doing it. I didn't see this, not whatever. And maybe he didn't see it. In fact, it was his interview because Roland Martin was talking to him about it, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Which I'm not, there's not a complete criticism of Q, but to me, it's like, it does sound like you haven't done your research. And if you're
the way I took it, and maybe I'm wrong after we watch it, I thought he was saying amongst like celebrities and people with a platform to get in front of the president. But you're saying that he's saying about that. Okay. So, well, you know what? I don't have a great memory, so your memory of it might be correct and mine might be wrong. So anyway, here goes.
Definitely be pushing this program on them. And not only the presidents, but Congress people, senators, private sector, you name it. If you go through the contract, you could probably come up with a list of about 500 companies we can talk to about this situation. So the thing is, what I don't think is healthy for Black people is to automatically jump on one side, and if the other side loses, we just wait for 4 years to engage and hope our side win. It's time for us to let both sides understand this is a bipartisan issue like anything else going on in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey.
Yeah, man. And this is the last clip I have from this.
I
Go ahead.
had 4 brain cells left going into this conversation, and you just cut that in half.
Oh man, don't worry. It gets better. She gets smarter as it goes on. No, she doesn't.
Kind of.
She
In that,
does.
I find that
smarter
very
in
hard to
that
believe.
ends with but I don't think I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in these people.
Me neither.
Cube, I think one of the things that's important, if y'all go to bring Alicia 3 shot of this, would be great. This is where, and this is what I've heard from people. I've heard from people is, man, Cube is out here with his contract and he's dropping videos and saying things. But then you have folk like Alicia and others who are doing it.
I don't know why he's obsessed with hooking her up with Alicia. He's really dead set on this.
Was the whole thing. I feel like that was the whole purpose was to get her.
He kept going back to it. Like I'm like, why?
Bro, they mentioned it's totally different.
Yup.
Like he's not even showing if they have mission compatibility, man.
No, he knows it's incompatible. He's hoping that Alicia turns him into something pointless.
That's what they're trying to do. What they think. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the goal, but I think the idea that it appeals to this belief that, oh, as Black people, we have to stop fighting and come together. Yep. So I think that's more so the appeal of what he's doing. I don't know if he actually has any real belief that it'll happen, but to be the guy who's saying it just makes you sound like you're this wholesome Black guy.
Well, this is what's going to happen. If Cube takes off and starts taking very seriously, he's going to be bringing in like people like Tone Talks, 80 West type people. I mean, he already talks. He's looking and reading something. If that click, these are all high. This is what media is. These all high school lunch tables and shit and Mean Girl shit. And they're always afraid the wrong Black people are going to be the cool kids, because it's not like before where you can have somebody from every single Black table in the mainstream media. It's like one table at a time, you know? And he's already got kicked off one table. He was part of that Melissa Harris Perry era, you know, Al Sharpton of MSNBC, late Obama crowd. He was on CNN. He got kicked off of there and TV One. Now he's in the new media space. He's just clawing his way back. He can't have another shift. So I think what he's hoping is, if he can't beat him, make them join you. I think they want to draft Ice Cube away from those 80 West people and them, so that like these people are always looking at everybody's stock, who's doing, which horse am I going to bet on at any given moment. I think that's what they're trying to do. They want to co-opt them.
Roland Martin cracks me up though, because he's like the most professional, unprofessional news person.
That's very true.
But it's like, it reminds me of like Black people who try to put on airs when they get a job. You know, like, you know, they don't talk like that, but it's like, hello, Susie, how are you? That's how he kind of acts. Like, dude, that's not really you. He just comes across like, I want to be on CNN so bad again. Like, it's just so weird.
Yeah, that's totally what he wants. He wants to be in the cool club, whatever the cool club is. And right now, he's not fitting in new media. He's not really working. He's, you know,
he's awkward.
He's totally awkward.
You know what he looks like? He looks like the kind of dude where, like, if you get just like one glass of Hennessy and you play the song "Candy" by Cameo, he will cut the fuck up immediately.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, in whatever setting he's in, it could be. In whatever setting, it could be like on a work lunch break. It could be at the company party or whatever. But he's a dude that, like, I'm pretty sure that there have been multiple company Christmas parties for every one of these media organizations he's worked at where people got a story about him.
Oh yeah. And you know, he's the kind of person that'll keep asking, "Where's my hug?" at the office party over and over. Like all the coworkers that he was kind of flirting with the rest of the year and making creepy, he can start shooting a shot while he's drunk at the office party.
Hey, where my hug at?
Yep.
That's facts, Isaac.
You said that this is where collaboration is important, and so with that in mind, You're there on the West Coast. Alicia's there on the West Coast. To
They're
me,
angling.
this is an opportunity, I think, for the two of you to get together, for the other activists to get together. And so, as opposed to Cube's contract, and then the Black Census Project, then what the CBC is doing, this is how you take Black Collective and say, how do we take all of these plans and then begin to move and then get the policies that we want? Alicia and Cube, what do y'all think about that? Alicia first.
Well, I think a few things, and I appreciate you raising that, Roland.
When you close your eyes, she just sounds like that white female manager that you hate, who just always sounds very condescending, even what she's just trying to tell you. The office policies, like when they try to act nice, they sound even more condescending than when they're trying to be mean.
You know what she's like. She's like that. You're right that she does sound like that white manager, but she's the one that in the workplace meeting or in the team meeting, she'll like throw out a question and nobody really wants to answer the question because they know what's happening next. But she'll stand there with her hands on her hips until somebody puts their hand up, and they'll try to answer the question. And rather than say no, that's not correct, she'll be like, okay, that's very close, but where are you going with this? Yeah. Or,
she's there.
Almost there. You're almost there.
You know what else she is? Because I work with a girl with a voice like her, and this girl used to always do this to me, and she looks like she would do it. She's that girl, right? You and her like share an office or something, or you guys get put on projects together, because you're like same level. You'll be sitting with her working the project, and she'll be like, "Oh, you're doing it that way? Okay. Yeah, okay." She'll be chilling and won't say anything. Then you guys get in front of the senior managers and stuff, and you gotta pitch the thing, and she'll be like, "Yeah, it's really interesting you say that, because personally, don't you think it would be better?" It's like, bitch, why didn't you say this when we're together
before? Yeah, you waited until we're in front of the manager to undercut me.
Yeah, when the manager's around, she'll be trying to undercut you. Like, oh, didn't you tell me that story that you didn't look for that? Like, we were sitting together all this time. That's her voice.
Like, she has that fake nice part. It's like this is what this whole part she's putting on that fake nice. Like, I want to insult you. Like, for example, it's like when people go, "Oh my God, I just love how you've been dressing lately. It's just been so cute."
Yeah. See,
anymore. I noticed you've been wearing things a little looser. That totally matches your shape because you pretty much have a lot of flab on the side. But I noticed you've been covering that.
Oh, you've been doing your hair lately. That kind of.
Yeah, she was raised by a white
Have
stepfather.
you been getting rest? I've noticed you had dark circles around your eyes.
Everything's like passive aggressive.
Yeah.
No. This is how she would say it. She wouldn't say it the way you said it. This is how she would say it. Wow, I really love how brave you are. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, like, you're not afraid to let people know you work hard. I couldn't be like you. I think I'm still got that patriarchal programming. Oh my God, I'm just a bad feminist. Like, I put all this makeup on my face, but you just came with the bags under your eyes.
You just came looking like it.
Yeah, like it's so empowered. Oh my God. Yeah, just like that. That'll be her. Act like she's complimenting you the whole time.
So empowering to just not give a damn about doing your hair in the morning. That kind of.
Yeah, I wish I could be as free from the patriarchy as you.
She's like somebody where you just like you come to work and mind your own damn business, and she'll praise you because you love your body.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. That's a real thing, by the way. It's like, oh my God, it's so wonderful how you feel so good about yourself. Like, why wouldn't I?
Can't have movement on an agenda without a movement. And there are so many incredible organizers and activists all over this country who are coming together and fighting back every single day. And that is what it actually takes to create this level of change. I will say that, Cube, I agree with you in terms of your frustration. I've been frustrated too. I took the Black Agenda 2020 to these campaigns, to the party, and I've had a hell of a time getting phone calls back. I've had to do a lot of maneuvering even to get the smallest pieces of our plan inside any kind of platform. And so that is to be criticized, and we need to keep holding their feet to the fire. But where I disagree with the...
By the way, that's her memoir that comes out this week on both sides of her in the back. So she did product placement for her own memoir, The Purpose of Power. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. She's always selling.
Well, to be fair,
shit,
they might be making her do that because they have to do stuff like that.
I didn't even notice that.
So I don't know. Maybe she had to do that. I don't know. I'm not giving her a pass.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't twist her arm very hard. I'm just gonna say it's my thought.
Is that
T, one thing real quick. Yeah, you might have noticed that to the casual viewer, it looks like you've actually got yourself, Vita, Mario, and Isaac.
Oh,
I know.
Wait, that's wait, hold on. Let's get that off. Okay, cool. You're right. You know what? You're absolutely right.
It's all good.
I know we switched Mario and Q.
I don't think justice is a business transaction. I think if we're going to change
got that part
to the fire, but where I disagree with the conclusion here is that I don't think justice is a business transaction.
Shut up. You so do.
That's not what he said, though.
No, but of all people,
say that,
you know what it is too. When people say stuff like that, I was totally unprompted, nothing to do with the conversation whatsoever. When it just gets thrown out there like that, it's 100% projection because that's how she fucking thinks. Sorry,
yes.
I think if we're going to change systems, policies, and laws, we have to get in the game and stay in the game. And I don't think it's a simple, you give me this,
Do you know what makes her an annoying like Karen? This is what Karens do. I caught it. They say sentences like they're questions. So for a split second, you think, wait, there's a little cognitive dissonance. Like, was that a question? That was a statement, right? And it's like a mad-making behavior. It's like slowly gaslighting. Listen to how so many statements she says sounds like questions, but they're actually just sentences. Like,
run it back.
I think if we're going to change systems, policies, and laws, we have to get in the game and stay in the game. I don't think it's a simple, you give me.
Yeah, was that a question? You have to stay in the game? Yeah, I don't know. It's just annoying.
No, I get
that.
No, you're also wondering where in the conversation you're supposed to come in because like she is throwing out a bunch of statements as though those are his positions and she forms them as questions. So it's like, should I respond to this or like what am I supposed to do here? Because she's not actually arguing with Ice Cube. She's arguing with a straw man of Ice Cube. Like she's invented a position and she's tilting at that instead.
Exactly.
And the question part. The question intonation hides that it's an accusation because it makes it sound more innocent, So it's like, you're throwing your weight behind someone like Trump, and when she says it, it's like your defenses are down because it just sounds like very nice human resource questions.
I give you this, you get that.
What's that?
Somebody said you got PTSD from white women at work.
Yeah, something like that.
All of us do. All of us do. Yeah.
We have to govern an entire country, and we can't govern that way. Donald Trump is governing that way, and that's what's not working. I also want to just offer here that for me, I've heard Van Jones and others say that people need to go to the people in power. And I actually, think I understand the premise behind that. But what it overshadows in my mind is it allows them to get off the hook for all of the other egregious things that they do to our communities.
How does that make sense?
I don't know. I don't understand what she's talking about, to be honest.
Everything she's saying just sounds so condescending and just
so
what
you should do is if you want to acquire power in the community, you should just never make demands of anybody. You should wait until somebody that you think is going to be agreeable to your position is in power and then maybe think about having a conversation with them. But when someone has been overly hostile to your community, what you should never do is make demands of them because that's going to validate the position.
How is making demands of them, letting them off the hook? How is making demands letting someone off the hook? If anything, you're adding a hook for them to be on.
Yep. Right.
Thank you.
In fact, that's what Ice Cube has been saying the whole time. Even in the other video, he's saying we try to put him on the hook. So he said it publicly. That we have something to hold him accountable for, which is why when people say those things like, "Well, we have to hold him accountable once he's in office," but you're not saying shit now. So he can hold him accountable once he's in office, assuming Black people can hold anybody accountable, considering they didn't do shit for us yet.
Mm-hmm. You know what's crazy about her security statement with 24-hour security? Like, we get these little moles sometimes from different organizations and stuff who just want to tell us about how messed up people are. And to be fair, I don't know which of them are telling the truth. Sometimes they could be lying, but more than one person told me about this one, which makes me think it might be true. But different people went to my DMs and were like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're talking about her. I can't stand her. And they said this thing, and I have no idea if it's true. It's just what I was told to me. It's hearsay. They called her in to work to do a speech at the organization that is nonprofit, and she has these corporate engagement things where she makes some pretty good bank speaking about diversity and different things to these nonprofits and probably for-profits too, I think. But this particular examples were nonprofits. She shows up. She said supposedly a 30-minute speech, and she charged them for 3 days of being at the hotel, extra stuff, and security for having to have a security team for 3 days. And both people said that they had exorbitant charge for security, and they submitted no receipts, and they wanted to fight them over it. You know, like, you only did 30 minutes speaking and you're charging us for 3 days of stuff. And then they decided, because they were like a white nonprofit organization, to go after her would be bad optics, you know, to keep pressing her for the receipts. And I don't know, but that's what I heard. So that security thing I find very interesting, 24/7 security.
Stuff like that doesn't surprise me, especially if it's a white organization, because I know for a fact that people like who do speaking engagements like that, activists and shit, they purposely kind of like to screw over white organizations. Like, that's the real thing.
I believe it.
You know what though? You know what? I was, as you were saying that, I was like, oh, that's like fucking low class and whatever. But I'm like, it's a white organization. I don't really give a fuck. Go scam people
and that's
get your money on.
I think that's kind of how, because whenever you hear people, because I know people who do that, like, they're activists, but then they get paid to go to these speaking gigs, because that's usually how they get money. So it's like, you know, so they can continue to have these flexible schedules or whatever. But they get white organizations that have like hundreds of thousands of dollars that they spend on events and conferences and stuff like that. So then they're like, oh, so people are like, oh, you have this much to spend. Let me get some of that. Oh, that's money. Yeah, out here yeah, I'm real convinced accountability is coming. Exactly, Ghost Porter on Twitch.
Yeah, you know, I have no problem with her fleecing the white companies if she wasn't taking real resources and attention from like important things. You know, if she was just fleecing them and then diverting those resources somewhere good, I probably wouldn't bother me so much. But the same thing they always claim other people are doing, which is step in front of other people and center it on themselves, I feel like is what they do, and that's what bothers me about it. But I agree with you. Like, I'm not crying for the white people.
I like the point about the TED Talk, because it's funny, because I was thinking the same. I couldn't figure out like what to call that language, because it's like this certain terminology and phrasing that people speak, like who do speak
consultant speak.
Yeah, it's called what?
Consultant speak. Like, a lot of consultants and stuff speak like that.
It's actually, and I wouldn't say that it's a TED Talk thing. As a matter of fact, like, because I've done a TEDx talk, and they advise you against that when you speak, it has to be in a certain kind of tone, and they really discourage the up talk. It's not TED Talks. It's boardrooms. It's boardrooms.
Boardrooms. Yeah. McKinsey speak. That's what it is. McKinsey's a top. McKinsey's a top consultant. Yeah, because I've been in corporate things, and PowerPoints sound just like her. She's very groomed in oh, Kenny's about to come in. That's good. Kenny, check your DMs. I sent it earlier.
You told him what to do. You told him to log in under us. That's why I have the picture of Mario every time I hit the camera off.
Yeah, I don't think he ever. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Let's play a little more.
I
I can't help but feel sick when I hear Donald Trump, talking about the First Step Act, but then also telling the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. And I don't get to actually look past that. That impacts my everyday life. I get death threats every single day from people who are listening to this president. And therefore, I don't have any confidence that even in the sense that he implements something like the First Step Act when it's convenient for him and talks mess about it when it's not, I don't have any confidence that the amount of power.
Part of the problem with her too is she works with the Democrats, so that alone is a conflict of interest that should be divulged. He should be asking her, or she should be made to say, what level of work do you do with the Democrats? Are you doing anything with them? Are you a surrogate? Because
and this is
but how you with Biden and he just got through talking about funding the police?
Yep,
that don't even make no fucking sense.
And what were you saying, Andre? I think you were saying something.
No, I was just going to say that, the inverse is never explored, which is, the Democrats have their own or there should be an accountability process for the Democrats as well. Like, if we're going to pledge to vote for them, when do they, like, Ice Cube could just as easily say, it's very hard for me to believe that Joe Biden is going to make things better for Black people when he says that police, instead of shooting Black men in the head or shooting them in the chest, they should shoot them in the leg, during the a presser he just got yesterday, which I guess is late for that now, but he just had a presser yesterday where somebody asked him what he would say to the people who were outraged that a killing just happened in Philly of another Black man. And the first thing out of Joe Biden's mouth is, well, what I would say is that violent protests don't work. Like, he immediately jumped to looting, riots, and violence. So how is Ice Cube supposed to be able to trust Joe Biden if, not only is he the architect of the crime bill, but whenever he addresses police killings, it always comes with the caveat that the police are justified in their use of force no matter what the situation. And the response to it that the Black community has is always got to be framed through violence and looting.
It's funny. I was just trying to send Kenny the link, and somehow by clicking invite and email, I got booted off, and then I came back in, and Kenny was here anyway. So
why he put that as
stuck into the back door?
Look at this fool! Look at this fool! Bald head ass, bro. Really? We having a serious political discussion, and that's what you're gonna come in here with, Kenny?
Listen, man, I'm doing the best I can.
Ken got too triggered. He couldn't stay in the sidelines anymore. He was in the chat, but
I was at home. I'm at home laughing the whole time because it's hilarious.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
But if you want to send that through my email, that'd be dope because then I can just use my computer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, you can just send it through my email, and I'll just jump off my phone and go to the thing. But yo, this has been hilarious. So I wasn't gonna come on because I've just been burnt out from all the bullshit. Like, it's getting old. And but when I didn't even get a chance to see all these clips that's been going on. I didn't watch the whole interview with Cube and Alicia Garza, which was hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny.
He pretty much hung her ass out to dry immediately.
Yes.
And that was and that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people really understand. We know what these people are about. Black people know what these people are about. It's white people that just go along to go along. Black people know what these people are about. They know they're fucking grifters and scammers. Like,
but white people know it. White people know it too.
Yeah, but they don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. Exactly.
Care. You know what I'm saying? What difference? There's a bunch of niggas. They don't care. It doesn't matter. So, but for Cube, that when I saw that, I was like, okay, this dude, because I know a lot of people have been talking a lot of trash about him, and of course they lying. Half of it is a bunch of lies, and then a lot of you gotta take with a grain of salt for the simple fact that I don't expect Cube to know everything because Cube is a rapper, an actor, and he's got a whole lot of other stuff going on in his real life that takes up a lot of his time. He's an entertainer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think he's got Derek Hamilton in his corner now as an economist, which is good.
That's pretty good. So for him to actually know his way around all these conversations and stick to the script, because a lot of people would have done veered off the side of a cliff and started babbling, arguing with what are they called? The cocktail queens? The queens of cocktails?
Yeah.
Fruit cocktail, whatever the fuck.
That's why a lot of people were saying.
You know what, though? We got to take it back a little bit because if I'm not mistaken, Cube, didn't he go to college?
Yeah.
He went to college,
Yeah,
right?
he did.
And then he was the one that kind of recognized that NWA wasn't really getting the fair shake in their deal. You know, he went on to form a successful career for himself as a solo artist, apart from one of the most successful rap groups of all time. He's done movies, he's formed his movie studio, all that, right? So we're not talking about a dummy here. The dude is at the very least a savvy business person. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I maybe we're surprised that he's fared well for himself because we kind of underestimate the experiences a person gains over a lifetime of sitting in boardrooms and shit like that. He's seen all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not his first rodeo.
Sure. Okay, so I'm gonna. It gets better.
To get these things done. I don't fault you for trying to move an agenda, but I don't think we can take any shortcuts here, and I certainly don't think we can jump the line. And you know,
jump the line.
Jump the line. Is there a line now? What the fuck is she talking about?
And she jumped the line. It's like Vita said. Like she did this stuff herself. Like our last guest, Troy Russell. He was talking about Tory Russell. He was talking about how they showed up while they were already protesting and just planted themselves in front of all the cameras and stuff. You know, the arrogance of, you know, she's got such a shit-eating grin too. Look at her.
Yeah, I hate it would be one thing if people actually weren't working on this.
Sorry, you were saying, Vita?
No, I just hate the face she's making. It's
Yeah.
like it's like the phony white girl face with the hair.
Yeah.
It just makes it even worse.
The Farrah Fawcett hair is not helping.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Jennifer Aniston.
Day. Imagine what we could do together, Cube, if I had access to a platform like this.
She just straight up said, "Imagine what we could do together, Cube, if I had
access to."
She didn't even make like a exchange. She said,
"Right,
yeah."
Imagine what we could do together with your platform.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell is that?
Sound like he about to check her though.
I did this survey. Maybe we should link together. Like it's clearly just condescending bullshit.
I'm losing. I'm losing not only like brain cells, but like the ability to function, bro. Remember how she brought up earlier, you know, Ice Cube, do you think that the Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization because Donald Trump, death threats, yada, 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 not only myself and Opal and Patrice, but thousands of organizers? Now, did she say, you know, Cube, if the thousands of organizers had access to your platform? She didn't name groups. She said, if I had access to your platform,
you're right.
Think about what we could do together.
You're right. She's straight up good
fucking
cat.
killing me.
She just said you're right.
Yeah.
She didn't even say Black Lives Matter. She just said, oh,
she said, if I had access to your platform, think about what we could do to get, like, this is the most striver climbing ass bullshit. And she fucking told on herself and nobody noticed it. This is what
I caught it. It was this.
No, I mean, in this interview, nobody saw it.
But the fact that she said, jump the line and then said all that shit says something. It sounds like she feels like she's slighted by him being there.
Yeah. She's got a mafia mindset, man.
That's the space that they operate in, though. That's that whole you're centering yourself. We've been doing the work. Who are you to come before? Like that's what that whole group is all about, man. And
the hypocrisy of it. Yeah, of being guilty of all that stuff. That's why they see it in everyone else, because that's how they think. They assume that's how he thinks. When there's one finger pointing at you, there's like three pointing back at me. That's what she's on. She's like, I know this grift because I run it all the time. Meanwhile, it's not a grift. You just see that because when your only tool is a hammer, you see nails everywhere. Hold on.
But I don't have.
Hold on.
Oh wait, Kenny, we can't hear you. Yeah, I can't hear you for some.
He sounds.
Oh, you can hear?
I heard him, but it was super low.
Very low, yeah.
Wait, I'm not hearing you. Keep trying. We're just gonna play the video real quick.
Alicia, I know Cube has to go, but Cube,
this contract
go ahead.
Been out for months, so there's been, if anybody wanted to work with me, I've been open invitation from day one to work together, make the platform better, and nobody has, or very few have come out to do that. So I'm not gonna wait to get nobody's line. If I feel like I can speak for Black people, I'm gonna go speak for Black people to whoever. And you have a plan for Biden win, but what's your plan if Trump wins? You have to have a plan for either president.
I don't think he likes her.
No.
Y'all saying that y'all saying people are saying they don't think that he knows who she is. I kind of think he knows who she is.
Yeah, I think he knows.
Yeah, I think he knew. And the other thing is too, like, he's worked in the entertainment industry for so long that he can spot a climber. Like, you have to be able to spot a climber when you come up in like the entertainment industry, especially because everybody is trying to attach themselves to you like a fucking barnacle. So I think he caught her doing that just now, and may not have been able to articulate exactly how it is that like he developed that sudden distaste for it. Like, you could see it in his face. Like, his face is all screwed up now, but that was exactly it. It was if I had access to your platform, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
But she feels entitled to it. That's the creepy thing. She thinks she's same thing. Yeah, I mean, doesn't like her, doesn't respect her. At the end of the day, she's not getting paid. That's all she's.
Can you pause it? Because I'm actually gonna go because it's 10 o'clock.
Oh damn! I didn't even realize. Yeah, I got to jump off too, man.
Yeah,
I did not realize it was.
Y'all are washed. We're on East Coast time over here. Okay? It's going on 1 a.m.
Yeah, but you know what? I literally jumped on here right after I got off of work, so I haven't had.
I'm just playing with you.
It's all good. You've been a trooper. You've been a trooper.
Don't respond to me like that was a serious comment at all.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I invaded my children's room so that I can get
they got
us through. They like, man, get out.
Get out of here. Yeah. No,
He's
don't.
The kids.
Yeah, when I get at you like that, don't dignify it with an answer.
No worries. All right, you guys. I had a great time. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the people who donated and supported us. Make sure that you guys are following us and subscribing to us because we love being able to give you guys great content. All right, you guys have a great night.
Take care, Vita. Always
all right, have a good night, Vita.
Good night, Vita.
Okay, so I'm back. Can you guys hear me now?
Oh yeah, you sound great.
Excellent. So I'm glad you guys just said that because I was trying to, in between me trying to figure out my shit. Man, Cube knows exactly who she is.
I agree.
And not only that, you have to remember, Ice Cube was down with Khalid Muhammad back in the early 90s. And remember, I don't know if you remember, he had that song called Horny Little Devil, and it was a song called Black Korea. And he talked about that kind of stuff. Be True to the Game, he talked about that kind of stuff. Who's the Mac? He talked about that kind of stuff. Like, this is 30 years ago.
Isaac is a fool.
Yo, the way that is actually me.
For real. Yeah, right. That's why I just I didn't mean to cut you off, Kitty, but I saw that. I was like, man,
no, that's for real. Like, that's for real. That's for real.
You just hit me with some flashbacks just now. Damn.
Yeah, I remember them days.
You think to yourself like, man, if it takes me 35 minutes to drive home, I'm gonna get 3.5 hours.
I can get
sleep,
3 hours. I'm gonna hit the snooze button 2 times, and I can get to work. I just throw the same thing I had on yesterday.
The worst is
never works.
The worst when you're not fooling anybody at work. That's the worst. Like,
you know what the worst is. You know what the worst is back in the days when like smoking was still allowed inside the nightclub. So know you had to take a shower either when you got home or when you there's just no way that you can sneak your way through, right?
Yeah.
So like if you didn't have like a thorough shower, like you still have the smoke of like booze and cigarettes on you. So there's just no way.
Oh yeah, it would stay in your clothes.
Yeah.
You smell like a club. You smell like a bar or club or something. You smell like food, cigarettes. But
or if Shorty asks you to go home, right, and you're just like,
well, you smell like her.
How am I? Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, how am I gonna finesse this now? Because I got to go home and do all that shit too. Yeah,
because you don't want to go. You don't want to go to work from some woman's house. It just don't feel right.
Yeah. Yo, Kenny, you're doing what Alicia Garza is talking about. B. Scott Carter. You centered yourself at the expense of a black woman. You're like Ice Cube and Alicia Garza, man. Look.
I just slid right in
Alicia
here.
Garza. Yeah, you Ice Cube.
Yeah. Ran Vita up out of the chat, man.
No, I wasn't even because I was talking to Vita earlier, and she was like, if I was gonna come on, I was like, I seen the topic, I was like, man, I don't know if I got the patience, because it's like, man, this shit has jumped the shark, literally, like Fonzie, like it has jumped the shark. And
but at least this is funny though. These people
this shit is funny. This is funny. But what I was noticing was online, of course, Twitter. On Twitter, like, people are purposely playing dumb. So it's like, damn, when all this shit hits the fan, Ice Cube was absolutely right what he just said. Well, if Biden doesn't win, do you have a plan? No.
Well, their plan is to do resistance grifting. Is to write articles and
exactly. It's a win-win regardless for them, because the grift don't stop.
Exactly.
One, the shit that's going on in the streets. Even me and Mario was talking about it. I ain't giving a fuck, and I'm not paying attention to that no more, because every time something happens, all they're gonna do is twerk, moonwalk, and do yoga in the streets. Yeah, it's the same shit. And then at least,
bro, there's one thing. Okay, do you remember how like morose everybody was when Kamala Harris dropped out of the primary before any of the caucuses? You remember how down everybody was? And keep in mind, Kamala had almost no support whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, but she was like, when she dropped out of the race, people were just like long in the face. And then when Elizabeth Warren lost the first couple of states, so what was it? It was Iowa and then Nevada, and she didn't like come anywhere close to landing a significant portion of the delegates. So when it became clear that Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren were not going to be the president, like no matter how you shook out the math, like she just didn't, like, none of them really had any momentum or whatever. Like, do you see how much they went on the attack against Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
Do you have that? And the thing is, like, it's not like I'm a big fan of Bernie Sanders or whatever, but I noticed that like the amplification of the attacks against Bernie Sanders just took off after Elizabeth Warren failed to seat delegates, and that's because they saw their job opportunities drying up. It's like,
absolutely,
if Donald Trump wins, they have no relevance, they have no standing. There's just nothing that they can contribute to the discourse. They're not going to get hired for gigs. Like, their job opportunities are gone. And the same thing if Bernie Sanders wins, because they're already in conflict with Bernie Sanders' supporters. Some of them are like, post left, like anti-impol.
They're not getting no job.
But it's also like, yeah, some of them are just like, fucking white racists masquerading as socialists. But then also a lot of people are just like, no, we're sick and tired of your shit. Like, it's very clear that you don't actually care about black people. What you care about is lining your pockets, and we're not going to do that. So that, like, they were really upset, and they were attacking Bernie Sanders. And then when it became clear that he was going to win, and they couldn't figure out who the vice president was, that's when everybody got on deck and said he has to choose a black woman candidate, not just because of the representational politics, which to me is already bullshit, and Kamala Harris is a bullshit candidate. And I think a lot of them saw her as bullshit candidates too, because remember how, Brittany Cooper was saying that, the idea of having a cop as a VP wouldn't go over well with black people. Like, she was like poo-pooing the idea until Kamala Harris was chosen. Then she was 100% on board. She's like, oh shit, my job prospects are coming back. Things are looking good. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
It was like, really bad.
You know what's funny? Hey, TMRO, you remember right before Trump became president, on one of my 9 accounts that got banned, I said, I don't know if you guys remember, but I said, oh, before even Barack is out of the office, they're going to all lose their jobs. And from 2016 up until now, that's why all this shit looks like a job interview. That's what all of this looks like. Because for the last 4 years, they wasn't getting nothing.
And they're using employment language. Talking about going to the front of the line. That's employment language.
Yes, that's employment language. And what Alicia Garza, her scamming ass, doesn't understand. But you know what? She does understand this. What she didn't understand is that Cube also understands this, is that she's not striving to do anything for black people. This is all about her. So of course she would like to get on a platform with Ice Cube, because they can do damn. I got a screenshot to show y'all. Hold on.
Yo, he looks like that Photoshop people do when people shrink the face on the head.
The small
Except
face.
it's his real face.
He looks like a Dick Tracy villain.
Small face. Dick Tracy. It's that gangster. Small face.
And there's no neck. There's no neck.
None at all. Look at, oh my god.
Hold on. I gotta screenshot that for later.
Oh my god, he really does, bro.
A Dick Tracy villain. Yeah, a Dick Tracy villain named Small Face No Neck. A gangster.
I gotta save that for later.
God.
Yeah, that looks
That's
crazy.
When Phil, you win the internet. You win YouTube tonight or whatever the hell. You win, bro.
His head has got so much real estate, and his face is just taking up so little of it.
You know what it's like? You know what it's like? It's like a country house on a big ranch.
but his look how small that square is. His face is taking up all of the square.
Yeah.
Like it's all of the square. It's all of it.
He looks like he's swinging his feet under the table. He looked like he's swinging his legs. He's swinging his legs under the table.
It looked like one of them. It looked like, oh my gosh! It looks like a funnier diet. It looks like a funnier diet, like a Photoshop. Like it's like somebody's head on a baby's body. You know.
But his forehead of opportunities.
Oh, and then it's even funnier because look at her smug look. It looked like she's laughing with us.
Like what a motley crew.
And she got such a big face too, right? Like, she got like she got a Jewish stepfather, but she has like the Jewish. She
got that Queen Latifah shine on her face right now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she do.
My. She do.
She got that Jermaine. She got that Jermaine Jackson sheen going.
Yo,
she's
she's
like Jermaine Jackson.
Yo,
but whose face is bigger though? His or Boyce?
His. Yeah,
because at least Boyce has, he's got the full lips or whatever.
He had the nerve to cut all his hair off too.
Look at this dude, man.
Dude, his forehead has a corner. Like I've never seen that. His forehead. It's not round. It like goes at a 90 degree.
Oh my god.
Oh, it looks like it's got a bezel on it.
Yeah,
his shoulder just look tired from like holding up the head, like they're just sagging.
Oh my god.
Okay. I'm gonna stop.
You put that along with that
we
video.
can't just go dormant because this is the problem. I think that's been happening with us. We go dormant. We don't push both parties hard to do what needs to be done, what's right. And, some people got a whole country to run. We don't have a whole country to run. Black people in a bad situation. We don't have a pot to piss in. We ain't even really in the damn equation when you really look at it. We just get to show up and we get to go home still broke. And unless you have capital in America, you're not gonna.
He's made more sense than I've ever heard her make sense. Like if you ever hear her talk, it's just so much nonsense, and that's just straight to the point. That's people feel that.
You know what it is. He doesn't, because he hasn't learned management speak, so he's not talking around the point. He's just saying,
right to it.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, again, this is that sort of like McKinsey speak or bureaucrat speak or whatever, but because they can't actually, if they hit the point, they don't leave you guessing. You know what I'm trying to say? You ever have somebody at work, the reason they don't get to the point is because they can't commit to a position, so they have to leave it open-ended and ambiguous and let you walk yourself to the position. That way, if you're like, no, we're not going to do that, she'd be like, oh no, that's not what I mean. You know what I mean?
I'm out.
How did we come up with that? Yo, Adam
Oh my god!
Shit.
Oh my god!
He looked like a new Thomas the Tank engine, don't he?
Thomas the Tank.
He's Rolly.
Rolly the locomotive.
Gordon. It was like Gordon. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Gordon, the one that Gordon can't smile. Like even if Gordon smiled, he still looked mad.
Oh shit!
Oh man, I gotta get out of here, bro. Get out of here.
So can we?
Oh my god! That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's so fucking wrong. Oh my god!
He's the best sitting in the door.
Shit. Oh my fucking god! I'm crying.
Dude.
That's
Dude,
not right.
his-
That's so fucked up.
I cannot see it, bro.
Oh my god.
He does look
Yo.
like Thomas the Tank Engine character. Oh my god.
You know what's
He
crazy?
says, looks like the
His-
front of a fucking hot dog. What the fuck?
between his ear and his
Oh
chin.
my god!
Yo, between his ear and his chin, he just has a giant cheek. Like there's no actual jaw. Is that weird? Like he has no jaw. He's just an ear, a cheek, and then a chin.
You know what'd be fucked up is like if you go to the chiropractor, right? You know how they give you an X-ray. I know the chiropractor look at that X-ray like, what the fuck?
How do I do this? How do I do this? What do we do? What do we do? Oh my god! It's just a blob of skin with what resembles a skeleton.
With a chin pointing out.
Adam Thomas, I don't know, man. Adam Thomas might win, bro.
No, he won. There's not Mike. He won.
I gave it to Winnie earlier.
Yeah,
But
he won.
If you ever had to go in a
God.
CTE scan, they'd have to bring in a second and a third opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
like,
my god.
Oh my
wouldn't know what they're
god!
looking at.
He looks
fucking ridiculous.
Remember those old fat suits and those 90s shows? Like he looks like a real life version of that. You know when they put the fake cheeks on you? It looks just like that, but it's a real thing.
You ever try to draw with your left hand?
That's bro. How this motherfucker Roland Martin looks like a melted ice cream cone. It's just melted ice cream. It's just,
Oh my
you ever had that deep fried ice cream? He's just melted and just deep fried and just stuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah. Like if the ice cream truck come around, right, and they have that clown ice cream, like that clown. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh my
the clown ice cream cone that's got a face on it.
Oh
By the time you get it home, it's a little bit melted. Yeah. And by the time you get it home, it's just a little bit melted, and the features are drooping.
He's like, oh my god, he's like chewed up bubble gum.
I gotta get out of here, man.
Okay, so fucking wrong.
All right. Sorry.
All right.
Oh my god.
Have a good one, Mario.
He's gonna flag us. He's gonna find out. He's gonna flag this shit.
Yeah, we'll get flagged.
Different pieces here. This is where I think black folks come together and say, look,
this thing come together.
We're gonna rap. Your number, my number, your email, my mail. Let's do.
He's like a matchmaker. That's all he's trying to do. That's all he wants to talk about. He just said all that stuff about black people ain't got nothing. We got past the pitting. We've been doing so bad for so long. Yeah, that's great. So let's exchange numbers. You know, this is why we gotta get together. Like he's get together with Alicia.
What it is. Yeah.
All right, y'all. I'm out, man.
All right, man.
Y'all later, bro.
All right,
All right, man. Be good.
I'll let you in.
Peace. All right.
Later. Thanks for coming out.
I'm more than welcome anytime. I'm willing and open. Anybody who's down to help black people get what we're supposed to get in this country through hell or high water, I'm with them.
Alicia?
Here she goes.
Listen, I'm always ready and have been working for 20 years to improve the conditions of black folks. And like I said, if we had access to a platform like you have, Cube, I bet you we could have gotten a lot farther.
She said it like it's his fault.
Again.
Yep.
Right. Like, how dare you? How dare you be famous and have a platform and not invite us to share it?
Yeah. Incredible.
I look forward to working with you.
So here's what I'm gonna do.
Real quick,
Show's
real
over.
quick. Do you remember when the Hello Black Pod was getting attacked by people because they were supposedly sheltering an abuser on the podcast, and it turned out to be a whole bunch of nothing?
Yeah.
And do you remember when people were, bringing out the allegations or whatever and making a list of demands? One of the demands was listen to these podcasters instead.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It was all about like the size of the platform, and will give us the platform that they have. You know what I mean? Like that's how these people think.
Yep. They have that manifest. Well, I don't even want to call it manifest destiny. It's almost like you should give it to me just cause.
Right. It's like they see the ability to speak to people and for them to listen to you as like real estate. And so like the more real estate you have, I guess in people's minds or whatever, the less it's available for everybody else. Like it's a zero sum game. Like there's only so much available land that you can purchase. And it's like Ice-T's got the whole state of California, and we're just over here being like Vermont. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Tron said it excellently. Extortion. That's exactly what they are.
It is.
Yep.
I remember, and I think T, you said that too when that was when all of that was going on.
Yeah,
trying to extort that dude.
That's exactly what they're doing. It was just freaking extortion. It's ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. When I say she has a mob mindset, let's run down how she has a mob mindset. I don't know if you guys caught that, but like earlier I said she has a mafia mindset, and this is what I meant. Everybody wets their beak.
Yep.
Total Sopranos. You wet your beak, and they're mad at him. You didn't let me wet my beak. That's what, right? Then
you got to pay tribute.
Yep, got to pay tribute. Then there's the jumping in line thing. Like mafia, just like the unions, everything is like there's an order to things, and you don't jump the line. You don't sell in my territory without clearing it with me first. You don't poach my guys to do your job.
It's funny you said that because I was watching Michael Franzese. He has a YouTube channel, and he was talking about how when they were doing that gas tax scam, they're making like $7 million a week doing that. And he said that they found a guy in Wisconsin that could help them, but they had to tell the guy to lie and say that he already knew them, or they would have to pay tribute to whoever in Wisconsin, even though this guy wasn't even a connected guy. He was just a guy that was there. And they were like,
very big into the etiquette of it.
Yeah, they was like, we had to lie and say we already knew the guy, or whoever is running shit in Wisconsin would have came up like, oh yeah, you didn't pay tribute, you owe us something. So that's exactly how those people think.
That's exactly how she thinks. The other thing too, the shakedown. Always going to do the shakedown on you, the extortion. And this is the fourth thing, and this is what they did to what's his name, Elizabeth Warren. You see Sopranos, when the guy got in deep with the sporting goods and they had to let him in to the sport, he had to let the mafia into the sporting goods business, and they just took apart everything. I think that hustle is called a bust out, I think it's called. And like they all came in. Like a bust out is when you take over something.
Oh yeah.
And then you just
you run it into the ground.
You run it into the ground, and you just take everything that's not stapled down, even what is stapled down. And they also do it with with junk raid with the corporate raiders used to do that, where they would just buy a business.
Well, if you buy a business, you load it up with all your debt. You all of the assets and whatnot. Like you sell them out piecemeal. You lay off all the workers, and then you let the business die. Like what happened to what happened to Toys R Us.
Yep. I forget what that's called, but that's a total mob tactic the corporations do. She does the same thing. These people do the same thing. Where that's what they did to Elizabeth Warren. They were camped in Elizabeth Warren. Ate all the food, drank all the beer, extorted as much clout as they could, and then when it was all said and done, Elizabeth Warren got no black voters. They just
not only she getting no black voters, she's not getting nothing. She's not getting any position in cabinet. She's getting absolutely nothing out of this whatsoever.
Yep. Venture, that's not venture capitalism. Yeah, but it's crazy. It's crazy.
It kind of reminds me of like how like the cordyceps fungus will take over an ant. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You ever seen this, like where this fungus takes over the head of an ant, and then like it controls the ant so that it will climb up to like the top of a leaf or something to be eaten by birds, and then along. So
it's
weird. The ant dies, but then the fungus is passed along in the bird's droppings. So it's like the fungus will survive no matter what, but the host always dies.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, everything that it was in dies, right? Yeah. That's exactly what they're like, and they all moved on straight to Biden. Just moved from like place to place. But Anyway, let's just finish this off. We're almost done.
Y'all permission. I will send y'all respective information so we can do that, because again, I think where we are, first of all, Cube, what you said about when folks are in power.
Both of them hate ADOS, so that's the main thing. They want to try to poach him off of them because he's been hanging out with them lately.
ADOS has too much power for them, or at least perceived power.
And they've had beef with both of them. They've both gotten into the war, so they're not.
They've
gone to the mattresses against them.
Yep.
Long said that even if somebody we did not vote for wins, we are still constituents. We are still taxpayers, and so they still owe us. But to Alicia's point, it's also holding them accountable when they're doing things that, frankly, are hurting us as well. And so I think what is required of us is to put that level of pressure on all folks, yet not having permanent friends, but we simply have a permanent interest. I do believe, though, that one of the great, and when you were on last time, you and I talked about this here, infrastructure is critically important.
Okay.
We know what your job is, what you're doing in terms of music.
Sorry, just jump in.
Look like, but also so many. Yeah, I think accountability requires a movement. It's not done over a boardroom table. It's done by bringing folks with you.
She's crazy. She's in so many boardrooms.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be working with, so many people across the country, the 30,000 people that we surveyed across all political ideologies, incomes, demographics, to really start to lock down not only what these policy issues look like, but also training people to be the people who are making the rules. And so again, Cube, I look forward to working with you.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, they underestimated Ice Cube as far as his ability to not, how old is Alicia Garza?
Oh, she's late 20s, I think, or early 30s.
She don't know shit about Ice Cube. Then she don't know shit. She don't know shit about Ice Cube. When Ice Cube put America's Most Wanted out, she wasn't even born.
I think she expected it to be like those white people that she gets. Oh, she's 39. I was way off.
She's 39.
Wow.
Okay, well, she should know. Well, depending on where she grew up, but I don't even know where she's from. I know she's got a little bit of history here in Portland with, just like that Nicole Hannah-Jones scammer. She's got history here in Portland. Nobody here likes her. So, not even the white people, they don't even like her. But they underestimate. I think Roland Martin underestimated Ice Cube also. And I think, who was it that said that Cube is not talking, he's going straight to the point and not doing the, so-called political speak. Who was that? Was that Andre or was that T said that?
I think we all kind of said it at different times.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to play, quote unquote, the game. But the thing about it is he doesn't have to play the game because he don't need him. Ice Cube don't need anybody for shit.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that it seemed like she was trying to get across to him, again, without actually committing to the position, because she can't make a point. She always has to hedge it. Is that you need us. Like, you need us to be able to proceed with whatever, sort of plan that you want to put together for the Black community. And he's like, I don't fucking need you.
You don't need him for nothing. I know he said he was talking with Dr. Claude Anderson too.
Yeah.
About a lot of this. So if he's talking to Claude Anderson, who knows history and knows, all these different types of things, yeah, he definitely doesn't need them. And I think they underestimated that. And I think also these people, I think they know, but I think to a certain degree, they underestimate how much Black people don't fuck with them. I think they underestimate that to a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they even really care if Black people fuck with them, as long as they can convince white people that Black people fuck with them. And they need just enough Black people to convince white people that they actually have a finger on the pulse of Black people and that Black people listen to them. That's the only time they get mad at us. Usually they don't pay us any mind as far as like the Black people out there until we risk exposing that Black people don't like them. That's when they get really angry and entitled with us.
Because that's why I always say, man, Twitter's not real life. You know what I'm saying? Because the academics and all those other goofy people, that's not enough power for them to overpower white people and have white people believe them. You know what I mean? If you cannot get pastors and working class Black people on the same page of the bullshit you trying to sell, you can forget it. You can forget it, because when it all comes down to it, where you think Joe Biden going? To the church? Now, Joe Biden go to the church and say, hey, you guys know Alicia Garza? Them old people gonna be like, who? They have no idea who the fuck she is. You know what I'm saying? They exist only online, and when somebody black dies, and they show up to march or whatever it is that they do. Other than that, nobody knows who they are.
Well, they exist with white liberal circles. Like I bet you if you asked a lot of people,
they know,
they know,
of course,
but black people don't.
Yeah, black people have no idea who they are. Yeah, I live here in Portland, man. Of course, the white liberals know who they are, but they don't have any power either. You know what I'm saying? They're only here for for shits and giggles. They're here for the party. They're here to kick it and eat all the food and talk all that shit. But when rubber meets the road, they ain't nowhere to be found either. You know what I'm saying? I just had to teach my daughter that just recently, and she's starting to see it now too in her little group. But it's funny. I think this is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen in my life, because she looked like the cat that ate the canary when he told her, I don't want to have anything to do with people with ulterior motives. The look on her face,
face just dropped.
She wanted to call him a nigger. Nigger! That's what she wanted to say. You nigger, you're fucking it up for us.
Oh man, there was something, I can't find it, but it was a excerpt from her book, and she basically was just saying that she grew up with nothing but white people, and she and
they're not gonna accept any more Negroes from the ghetto. Are you serious?
And the house she grew up in is very nice.
Oh, I wouldn't. Where's she from? From the Bay Area or something like that.
I wish I had the article already. I had an article about her and I can't find it. But
I think it was
the area. I think it was. I think you're right.
Yeah, from the Bay Area. So and she's 39. She ain't from the Tenderloin. She ain't from South San Francisco nowhere, or East Oakland or nothing like that, or Richmond or nothing. She's from somewhere else. But I think it was Vita earlier that said that all of these shows are curated. Like, all of this stuff is curated. All of these movements are curated. They're not going to have any Negroes from the ghetto. Are you serious? That's not happening. That's not happening. It's too much to lose.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I laughed a lot tonight.
That was funny. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna screen record some of this stuff and put it on Twitter. That shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, you gotta record some of it. That was really funny.
That was hilarious.
Anyway, anybody has any parting thoughts? Anybody wanna throw into the tin cup before we go?
Nah, man.
For me.
Yeah. I'm tapped out.
Hate, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, hate, comment, like, subscribe, and share. Definitely share
on Facebook. Share on the old folks' Facebook page where the old people are.
All right, guys, be good.
All right, peace.